We bring you this week's flight sim news with thanks to SayIntentions. We check out Rome Ciampino by SimPixel, the updated HJet by FlightFX, and the Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer by BlackBox Simulation. Words are hard. Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. Welcome to the middle of the week, the halftime show, the midweek shuffle. Welcome to the news. Yes, friends, we have news tonight. A fair bit going on in our beloved simulation hobby that is flight sim. Right, we're checking out some stuff tonight. We have stuff from SayIntentions. We also ramble to Rome, my absolute favourite city in the world, as we check out Ciampino. Some say it's Ciampino, but I was told by an Italian who got very animated. Ciampino. This one by SimPixel, which is published by iniBuilds. Then we're checking out the updated HJet by FlightFX, and of course we have this Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer by BlackBox Simulations. So it's going to be a busy one. How was your day? Now come here, right? Right. So I've hardware coming tomorrow, and I was like, right, where's this going to go?
Get a load of this guy.
I have two stories now. Bear with me. So where's it? Right, where's it going to go? So I was saying, well, I can get, the shelf gadget. This gadget that I use. It kind of bolts on, and there's like legs that like bolt onto your desk. Oh Jesus, they bolt onto your desk, and then you can just kind of, move them where you need. I said, these are pretty good. So I've ordered one of those. And I've also ordered another gadget. So my idea is I'll put a gadget here and a gadget over there. So I had to get about measuring all of this, you see. And for those of you who know, my outstanding pair of Crocs live down here on the left-hand side, right? And I went about putting them on.
You haven't a clue what you're doing.
It's story time. I went about putting them on earlier on. Whatever move I made, I went like Alan Shearer, if he had to kick with his left foot, kind of a sweeping, if you play golf maybe, kind of sweep the carpet before you put your toe into the insert foot here part of the croc. Yeah, well, I missed it, and me baby toe and not so baby toe got mooshed beside the Alex cabinet drawer thingy from IKEA, and I can tell you how well they're built. How well? Very well. And it's still not right, Me baby toe, it bled. It stopped bleeding now, but it bled. So now you're up to date. I did something stupid today. I absolutely bashed me toe. But anyway, we're here now with a sore toe. And Hope you're all keeping terribly well. Yeah, it couldn't have been clipped. There were some very interesting words used. Words that even I got a bit kind of offended by, you know. So anyway, you're up to date. That's what went on here today, you know. Amongst other things that I do in the background, but that was one of them. But anyway, Super Typhon, sup? You're very welcome in. CP65 is here. Eamon, 1973. Good day to you, sir. Vacuum is in the house. Spitfire RAF 100. Happy Wednesday, man. Commander Balosh rambles aboard. Mech Manser is here. Top Gun Glenny. Good day to you. Fierce Wolf, looking fierce. And Wolfie, welcome in. Mrs. TPHI, who is upside down watching, wondering, says hello. Good to see you, Mrs. Malky Mac is here. 12 months. A year already. Where did the time go? It's very green in here. Thank you very, very much indeed, Malky. 12 months, buddy. That's insane. Where's this gadget now? I have to move one of these and then to find one of those. Look. Ah, yes. Bit of tunage now as we ease our way into this evening. APU Inspector, good to see you. Toto 2495. Newsage time. Good evening, hope you're well. Shuffle Shoes shuffles in. AJH John, happy Wednesday. Nutty Slack is here, good to see you. Chuck, good evening. Sprockets is here. Good day. Hello from Everett. Hello from Tipperary. It's currently 10 degrees. Not bad. Tomorrow it's to be 10 degrees. But Friday, it's to be 2 degrees, lads. Where we have a weekend of no rugby at all. Yes, but the following week all will be well in the realm. Do you know what I mean? The Impossible Face is here. Merry News Day, he says. Spending this evening with background newsage while I reacquaint myself with a 737-600. Ooh. Anthony V, Kia Ora, good to see you, buddy. Mac Vision is here. A Crotty, welcome. Norse Viking Gaming, very happy Wednesday. Hermit Something, a very good afternoon to Boston. Hope you're well. How's the the snow? Is it still bad? Creo, a very good evening. Hello to all in County Mayo. Hope you're well. Muse fan, he bursts in the door in number 1. He says how he is, his mad jokes is. Happy hump day. Good to see you, Muse. And we have a couple of ways in which we can look at this. Looking at Gibbo's post, you know, what was the exact... Oh, hang on, where is it? I'm after pressing a button I shouldn't have. Hang on there now. So, this is interesting. Oh, yeah. More does not equal better, which way I would agree in a lot of things, you know. However, is he trying then to say that Muse, you talk too much? Or, you know... Muse, you talk too much. But listen, oh look, I put a whole load of... Oh, my cat did that earlier. The poor cat. She went to jump up onto this about half an hour ago. Totally missed it. Made a bit of a... Oh no, I'm falling! And hit the ground. She's alright, she got over it though. But in my case it does, right? It's good to see you, buddy. TG Sims, good evening. Stu Snape is here. Hope you're well. Good evening. Filthy. He took the plunge on Chaseplane today, totally blown away. It adds so much to the experience. Chaseplane is awesome. Flow and Chaseplane, some of the best add-ons you can get in the sim. They are absolutely transformative. Now, there's a big word for today. Soaring AJ. AJH man, happy Wednesday. Culkin is here. Cyrus T, the man of teal, has rumbled aboard. Good to see you, Cyrus. Uniform Goose, good day, Goose. Welcome in. Linny Bobbins is here. 'Tis herself. Welcome aboard. Lear, happy Wednesday. Mountain Man is in the house. Finally got an update. Ooh, nice. Sumner, howdy Murph. Poolside with a pint in Naples, Florida. What? Poolside with a pint? Share. We all need poolside pints. Good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Goblin Zeus, good evening. Idle Cutoff, Cambridge calling. Well, hello from Tipperary. Hope you're well. Let me see. Alberto, very good evening to you. Happy Wednesday. Guard Gaming is here. Hello to all in County Galway. Devil Fly, howdy all from Southern California. Hello from Tipperary, where it's not at all like Southern California. But you're very welcome in. Crafty Tigers, good day. PQ is in the house. Old Veteran 965. Happy hump day, everyone. Hope all is well with y'all. Right, those who've been to Texas, very nice day here in Texas, he says. Y'all, brilliant. Viper Strike, good to see you, buddy. Where's this now? I heard news that Firefly Air will open a new hub in Minneapolis. Are you mad? Well, maybe. You know, there just needs to be... What was this Adam said? Murph would go to the opening... What's this he said? He'd go to the opening of an envelope or something. Right, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Iowa Scotsman is here, good to see you. Paparazzi, good evening, hope you're well, buddy. Just Roy is here. Jesus, tier 2, 23 months. Roy, thank you very, very much indeed. It's good to see you. Roy, I keep forgetting, I need to update Spotify. Patreon. I need to update my Patreon. I've been working on stuff and I just haven't posted it. So every time I'm like, oh, I need to do something else. I added collections. So you can see now there's going to be other things. Right. But yeah, I've to update that. But thank you very much indeed. You're very kind. LG Dan is here. Good to see you. Where's this now? Your railroader, welcome aboard. Hope all is well. We're catching up. Dazza Tiara is in the house. Well, hello, Dazza. Good evening. How is your whole setup going? You know, and your flight simming too. How's painting and whatnot. Cracker is here, good evening. Sun Jammer, good evening. Murph, into his tall tales about small hands. Malton Streams, good evening. Where's this now? Who's in charge, right? Malton, thank you very much indeed. 5 months with Prime. Cheers, buddy. Really appreciate all the support. Good evening. Derek is here. Hello. Scott says, so now he has more things to run into. I see shenanigans. I'll keep you up to date tomorrow. We're streaming tomorrow during the day, and there's a good chance the stuff will arrive during the day. So I might do an unboxing during the day. You know, it's Airbus stuff, so we'll see how that goes. Nick, good evening. Petrol Head is here. Cyrus is after bashing his knee. Oh, it's nothing worse. Oh, bashed me knee. But yes, you're an accident waiting to happen. You, sir, have never been right. Well, you know, Tarnish Mossman is here. Good evening. Wait. What's this, Murph, you're going to use? No, it's a clip-on thing. Jesus, Tarnish. Filthy, good evening. That'd be a good clip. Indeed it would. You need to be bubble wrapped. Right. That'd be actually... No, you'd make too much noise, sure, when you're walking. You know, we'll be hearing about this for the next week or so. About me toe. Didn't show you. Right? But anyway, we'll ramble in. Swap is here. Good evening, Swap. Hola. Quasar Core, 46 months. Cheers, buddy. Thank you very much indeed. Mr. TPHI has arrived. Good evening. Willow, how much? Murph, an idea for a design for Gibbo. I reckon your Firefly intro picture with the tent and planes would be great. You'll sign a 20% commission. Mind yourself, Willow. Brilliant. Now, let me see. Sasha's here. Good afternoon. Where is this now? We're over here, look. Your railroader, welcome in, buddy. What a day working with EJets. Now time to watch one. Yes, that's how this works. You know, spend your day with EJets to come back and look at an EJet. It works. Be grand, right? I won't break anything else. You know, we hope. Digital Mark, good evening. NKT is here. Hello from Tyrone. Hello from Tipperary. Good evening. Hope all is well. Now, 24 degrees today and 26 degrees this weekend. Jesus. Scott, living in Texas, what is the temperature that is acceptable to go swimming in one's pool? Do the neighbours look at you if you're out there and it's 20 degrees? I'd swim in about 16 degrees. You know, that's hot to us. But yeah, pool time. Where's this now? I got my Scalarchy products working with X-Plane today. Also downloaded the map enhancement mod. All set now. Just need to add the vinyl to me pedestal. Ooh, nice. Nice, Dazza. Jeez, you got lots of work done. Photos by Kev is here. Good evening, Kev. Hope all is well. Cornwolf, a very good evening. How's she cutting, man? JC is in the house. Hello. Where's this now? Tis yourself, Linny. You're very welcome in. So no stream in the evening while staying at the hospital. Wait, what? The UK government found a new brain-eating bacteria. They tested it on Murphy, and it died. Jesus. Martin, Kerry Aviation is in the house. A very good evening, Martin. Hope you're well, buddy. Vasco is in the house. It's a big house. Vasco, you're very welcome from MSFSaddons.com. We'll be checking out your lovely work here now in a few moments. Great to see you. Where is this now? 23-month tier 2 and a patronage. What support? I'm telling you now, Roy, it is bananas. But thank you very, very much indeed.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Jesus, you're very kind. You're very kind. Energizer's here. Is me wallet safe tonight? Not really. But we'll see. We'll see. It's too cold right now. You don't like cold water? Aha. 20 degrees, usually. -1 was super tie. But you had a blizzard with snow drifts nearly reaching your window, which is 2 meters above the ground. What? Wow. North Coast Mike, good evening. His Gaelic isn't that bad. Linny, right. Where is this now? You reckon about 75 degrees Fahrenheit? What's that in old money? 2024, 2022. 2020 has had an update, says Tarnish. A sim update. Ooh. Has it? Did they finally release it? I think it was more to do with like they had a beta running for a while. So yeah, we'll check it out. We'll check it out and see what the story is, lads. Let me see who else now come into the parlour. Kubi is here. Very good evening. Thrust Set Simulations. Hello. Bart Vapor. Welcome aboard. Black Sheep Gene. And just like that, money is gone. Gene, you poor old devil. It's good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. Let me see here now. Hang on. Is that a Star Trek Le Cars mat? Listen. Jared, it is, but it's the Timo version, right? So it's like, you know, space, the final frontier. These are the voyages of the USS Ent. Rise. Its mission was over before we can get there in time to seek out who the cast was. But, you know, it's very grand. It was only... it's a Temu special. It's like, I don't know, $5 or something for a mouse mat. Pretty fancy, isn't it? I'm into my house. I've an Enterprise B up there, and there's an Enterprise D over there. I still have the Lego one I didn't finish the Lego. Jesus, lads. I didn't finish the Lego Enterprise yet. I haven't even started the saucer section. I'm still working on the warp nacelle. But I feel like Geordie LaForge now, you know. I haven't got to data yet, but I feel like Geordie LaForge, so it'd be grand. Right, we'll get there. But a very good evening to you. Who's now? Dana Mills is here. Good to see you. Atlas Commander, good evening. Hope all is well. Where is this now? 98 Vulcan, welcome aboard. Mech Manser, thank you very much indeed for the gifted sub to Vasco. You're very kind. 1 minute and 15. Oh, good man, idle cut off. Right, when... wait now, then do the Lego one. Like, Mr. Viewer, pleaser. Wait, what? You don't want to watch me build Lego. Not at all. I mean, I reckon I'm not alone in this, but I reckon I'm quite unique. How many people, like, make Lego using a hammer? You know, and a flamethrower, right? That'd be me. But anyway, let's see what happens. Kev says, my daughter-in-law gave us our first granddaughter earlier this month. Today, my own daughter dropped a bombshell. Oh, be Janie. Oh, Kev, it's going to be busy at Christmas time. But yes, where is this now? You menace. I'm telling you. Right. We'll go over here and get started now. 1 minute and 30 seconds for an intro. It's later we're getting. Right. Now, look at that for a transition. Oh, mind your finger. I still have an injured finger. Was I telling you the cat nearly severed my entire arm, look? Can you see it? You can't really see it there. I can assure you it's still sore. Yes, very sore. And, well, listen, we'll figure it all out. It's very bad, you know, but it's all right. Thanks for your concern. I'm all right. I'm feeling okay. We'll see how we get on. Now, I have to press buttons. So this here is the updated HJet, the Honda Jet. They call it the HJet, but it's a Honda Jet. And, well, we're going to be going through this machine whilst being here in Rome in a little bit. But before we get to that, friends, we're going to start off with the news. Whoosh. Holy tabs on a screen. So our news tonight is brought to us by Vasco over at MSFSaddons.com. And, well, a shout out to Callum and the lads over at FS Elite. It's all very busy. Flyboy Dyer, thank you very much indeed. Welcome to Flight Crew. Cheers, buddy. It's amazing support. These are all very kind. Thank you very, very much. Welcome in, welcome in. So we'll start off tonight. News here from Majestic Software. Now, if anyone kind of came into Microsoft Flight Sim, say 2020, 2024, if these are your first kind of inroads into flight simulation, well, the name Majestic Software probably doesn't mean an awful lot to you. However, historically, what these guys had one of the best, it was at the time the best simulation of a de Havilland Dash 8, the Q400. It was absolutely incredible. It was released in FSX, it was released in P3D, but it just didn't get into 2020 for various reasons. However, Majestic did say, no, we're building it, we'll get it in there. So fast forward, 6 years, it's still not here. And there have been turbulent times for Majestic between, their team reshuffling and all the jazz. But we do have an update today for you. So they're saying that the Q400 systems are now ready. They're just waiting on the 3D cockpit, and that's holding up their testing. So it's kind of good news, but let's go into it. So the Majestic software -8, I mean, we were seeing images and kind of hints and, hey, this thing is coming for a long time now. But we haven't got there, right? We haven't got there. The response from the developer offers a straightforward look into the realities of independent flight sim development. And he went on to talk about like the team and, you know, if people kind of move or change roles and all this kind of stuff. Where they're at right now, they were going to do a port and just make it compatible. And then they kind of realized fairly quick that just wouldn't work in today's flight sim kind of industry. People won't settle for the FSX graphics, if you like, that we can see in some aircraft. And when we do see them, like, this is ridiculous. Even Leonardo, when they first came out with the MD-80, the Mad Dog, we were like, what the hell is this? A great aircraft, loads of depth, but like the textures, nah, but the price, it was crazy. Some people bought it, a lot of people didn't. So, you know, Majestic are looking at this thinking, okay, then they made the decision to completely rebuild the aircraft. Ground up, textures, sounds, everything, you name it, the logic, the whole shebang. So, where is it now? They were committed and are committed to the complete visual rebuild. Systems are now complete. The flight deck bottleneck, the team currently waiting for the total remodel of the virtual flight deck in order to be finished. And what makes this quite different here? They're limited, probably when they were developing this for 2020, they're even more limited now when it comes to 24 by the number of objects. And the look of it has to be, I mean, that's one thing. Designing it is one thing, but actually getting it to work efficiently inside the sim is something completely different. And they're not in a position to really start beta testing this product, even alpha testing, until this is all done. So the news to us is, well, they're still there in the background. Majestic have every intention of bringing this aircraft to life. It's just, well, it's taken a minute, isn't it? I mean, when you consider Bluebird with their 757 and, you know, how long they've been talking about we're bringing it, well, it's still not here. And yet, okay, people say, hey, are you guys doing anything? Yeah, we're making all this progress. What do we want as consumers? I mean, do we want the early access? A lot of people will say, no, we don't. Do we want no news? Then they think projects are dead, right? So it's a bit of an unusual one, I think, for, you know, the flight sim community. Anyone who's seen Majestic or anyone who's used their products before, well, we're expecting great things, because looking back at the previous product, it was excellent. Really, really superb aircraft. For anyone now, perhaps, who hasn't ever experienced it, it's just a name in the flight sim space. And the reality is there are so many new developers and development studios producing aircraft in Microsoft Flight Simulator. It's very hard to kind of, you know, hey, come on, community, let's go look at these. And you know what I mean? So we still have to wait and see. They're caught on the remodeling. So you're talking textures and model work and all this sort of jazz. But it's good to say the systems are complete, because just to kind of reassure people, it was the systems of this aircraft that made it stand out. It looked great, it sounded great, but the systems are where the real kind of meat and veg were. So if they're saying the systems they're ready to rock, they're just waiting now on the textures and the modeling, well, this is actually pretty good. You know what I mean? If it isn't at Expo, it isn't real, right? One Fly Air, good evening. So no other news on that, but the project is far from dead. And well, Vasco did reach out to him. So good work, Vasco, on that to find out, well, what's going on. So Majestic pilots wait out a little bit more, but you know, I reckon this would be class when it's out. Aerosoft and Tolis, they were showcasing their upcoming A340-600 the other day, and it was a bit of a deep dive into the failure management. You know, there's a lot more than just a pretty looking aircraft or a technically good on paper aircraft. The thing is very much alive. So, flight sim enthusiasts evaluate high-end airliners not just by how they look or how they handle when things go wrong. Sorry, I'll read that again. Not just by how they look, but how they handle when things go wrong. And of course, sounds and features and whatnot. There was a 2-hour live stream. Aerosoft and Tolis, if you don't know the name Tolis, they are an X-Plane developer. They make Airbus aircraft over on X-Plane, and they are excellent. So much so, Airbus actually give them the seal of approval. They've endorsed their products. Aerosoft have a bit of a rickety, kind of a shaky history when it comes to Airbus. Their last A330 didn't exactly hit the target. However, working with someone like Tolis, well, this is bringing a lot of expertise into the project. But anyway, they did a live stream and it was aimed at answering the community's questions about the depth of the upcoming A360 or A340-600. By intentionally triggering a complex multi-system failure at cruise, well, the devs provided a clear look at how the aircraft manages emergencies. It was a simulation of a highly requested feature that places the aircraft in direct competition with the current market leaders. The broadcast began as a standard long-haul departure out of Frankfurt, and Rafi from Aerosoft flew the aircraft, guided by Tolus developer Torsten and Stefan, and who is a real-world A340-600 captain. However, the planned route to Hong Kong included a major twist. Near flight level 310, the crew experienced engine 4 failure, accompanied by high vibrations. This simulated severe damage and triggered a secondary loss of the green hydraulic system reservoir. From there, the stream shifted into a detailed demonstration of the Airbus ECAM procedures. And under the guidance of a real-world captain, the crew navigated through isolating fuel tanks, managing alternate braking, and calculating overweight landing performance via the EFB. And because the green hydraulic system powers normal landing gear, well, the team had to perform a gravity gear extension before successfully diverting to Munich. I think this is kind of where a lot of folks want to see aircraft going, but they want the option, and I think that's important. Particularly now for the long-haul flyers, the airliner stuff. I even saw a comment earlier on one of my videos on YouTube. You know, folks are saying, yeah, but like, why would anyone do like a 4-hour flight? Take off, cruise, go to sleep, wake up and land. Well, it's not the case. I mean, you know, you're dodging weather. You could be with ATC, dodging traffic. You could be doing position reports. There's a whole lot of stuff, and monitoring your systems. And if you do add that kind of awareness that, well, a system just might fail. It could fail. What do you do then? Is it like, the thing is broken, turn it off? No, I mean, that's where simulation really does come into it. And from flight sim products, you know, when you look at real world training or just like help educating people, when you go through real world failures and they follow the real world procedures of, well, if this happens, these are all the chain reactions that you got to plan for. And it's very good to see that, you know, becoming more of a thing. Yes, the average casual user or the person who likes flying these aircraft may just want a casual flight. Well, they can turn the stuff off. You know what I mean? But it's great to see this coming in. And this sort of thing, losing just one engine, you still got 3 other engines. But the challenge, of course, having that in the A340, which is quite unique, it's powered by essentially 4 A320 engines. They're not overly powerful engines. So if you lose one actually drops out an entire line of the hydraulics, meaning, well, if it's a gravity-fed gear system, manual switch, right? All that now can be fully simulated, which is pretty cool. The stream went on to highlight several technical and quality of life features, such as the custom flight model, saying that the custom flight dynamics created in cooperation with the University in Montreal allows users to run the simulator at up to 4-time acceleration. The aircraft remains perfectly on its flight path without the wobbling or shifting commonly seen in accelerated time. Ewald, thank you very much indeed. Cheers, buddy. Balbro, good evening. Sai120, good evening. The EFB structure, the tablet separates real-world tools from the simulator features. The top row handling charts, performance calculations, and the bottom row manages sim tools like instant fueling, state saving, and jump to next waypoint features. The cabin details modelled the unique Lufthansa layout. This includes passenger toilets and a crew rest area located downstairs in the cargo hold. With cockpit wear, the flight deck features textures with realistic wear and mismatched panel colours to represent aging hardware from different production eras, which is, again, highly accurate. While developers did not announce a firm release date, they did mention the launch is extremely close. Regarding the pricing, Aerosoft stated the A340-600 Pro will sit in the same price range as the popular add-ons from PMDG Phoenix and also iniBuilds. It's worth noting, iniBuilds, they have an A340, which is absolutely incredible, and all the variants, be it the crew or passenger, Praetor, and now we have the VIP variant. It is a different model of the A340. So I don't know if you want the bigger or the smaller. It's entirely up to you. But just know there's 2 different products of it. They are different models. Anyway, the aircraft will release on both 2020 and 2024. PC first, and then Xbox and console after. A cargo variant is also being considered. So great stuff here. I don't know if you guys have seen any of the stuff, but to show you the aircraft doing its thing.
We are not going to fly this flight. Hold T.
So they're climbing there, and we'll look at some of the issues. So here's engine 4 gone now.
Very good.
If I may just quickly interject, because you saw, some may have noticed as we switched the engine master 4 off, the lever actually went into idle. That's a feature we've put in, which is called the thrust lever lock. If you switch off an engine in flight and you move the lever to idle, it will stay there. So that works if you have, for example, only 3 levers or you only have 1 joystick lever. You can still move the remaining 3 levers now with your joystick without worrying that the 4th lever would fall out of the idle detent, for example.
Oh, this is great. This is perfect, yeah. Okay, so now we continue with the...
So there's a lot more with that video, and Malky has corrected me. Murph, the A346 uses Rolls-Royce engines, not the CFMs. Aha! Right, so the power obviously much bigger, so interesting stuff. Thank you for that, Malky. I'll leave a link to that video if you want to watch it. I'll pop it over here for you, lads. That's an aircraft, as I said, it's on a relatively short final, so do be sure to check it out over that. Right, Airplane Heaven, they have released the mighty B-25J Mitchell for Microsoft FlightSim. After a development period that caught the attention of vintage aviation fans several months ago, Airplane Heaven have released the North American B-25 Mitchell for Microsoft FlightSim. It is an historical, rugged, multi-engine alternative to the nimble fighters that often dominate the marketplace. The B-25 Mitchell has quite a unique place in aviation history. Famously serving as the backbone of the Doolittle raid in 1942, it was known for its versatility, acting as both high-altitude bomber and also a devastating strafer. Airplane Heaven say the package aims to capture that range by including both the standard B-25J and also a free extension featuring a B-25B, the Doolittle Raider variant. One of the things that sets this release apart is the inclusion of the modified B-25B. They've created a specially programmed flight model for that version to simulate the unique performance required for carrier takeoffs. It also includes the historically accurate modifications made for the raid on Tokyo, such as the single 30 cal nose gun and the famous broomstick tail guns used to deter enemy fighters. The idea was reduce weight in the aircraft. Now, Airplane Heaven say the aircraft features high-fidelity models based on the original drawings and references, and the visual work extends to the highly detailed Wright twin Cyclone 14-cylinder radial engines, which are paired with an authentic sound pack developed by none other than Echo 19. So, I have it. I haven't spent enough time in it to show it. We will go through this aircraft next week. There's no point in me sitting here and getting everything wrong. I mean, there's only so much wrong you'll put up with. So, we'll do this next week. So if you're on the fence, should you get it, be sure to tune in next Wednesday when we'll showcase the aircraft and see what it's all about. The systems and start routines are realistic, encouraging pilots to study the provided manual rather than the old Control E. This level of complexity puts the Mitchell in direct competition with other mid-range warbirds, offering a more systemic experience than basic marketplace offerings. But it's still accessible for those who just enjoy a little bit of study level depth. So it's available right now via the Airplane Heaven website. You can pick it up on Orbex as well. It's about $33, $34, give or take. And it is a 2020 aircraft, but it's very compatible with 2024. So as I said, I have it, and I'll spend a bit of time next week bringing this out for an owl a spin. Chalk says, there's no point in me sitting here and getting everything wrong. What have we been doing for the past year? Well, yeah, very true. SimWorks Studios, we only flew the Kodiak a little while ago. Well, they're nearing completion of the overhauled Kodiak 100 for FlightSim 2024. It's pretty exciting. So the Kodiak, long been a staple for utility pilots in Microsoft FlightSim, but the transition to 2024 platform is yet to be fully completed. There was updates, it does work well in the sim, but it's not a native aircraft. Thankfully, it shouldn't take much longer. SimWorks Studios have provided a detailed look at the progress of the Kodiak 100 for FlightSim 2024, revealing a project that aims to use the new engine's capabilities while addressing long-standing technical requests from the community. Ooh. While the visual update are the most immediately apparent, the core of this release lies in a significant systems overhaul. SWS say it has rewritten the entire electrical system to improve load handling and has activated circuit breakers that were previously non-functional. One of the most practical additions for casual and professional simmers is the smart auto start logic. In many high-fidelity turboprops, using the standard Control-E shortcut, it just doesn't really work. But SWS say its new system monitors ITT during the start sequence. If the engine gets too hot, the system will automatically motor the engine to cool it down or transition to a shutdown mode if a fire is detected. This provides a safety net for those who want to get moving quickly without sacrificing the underlying complexity of the simulation. So it's important to note you can still hot start the engine and destroy it if you should want to. But anyway, the developer leaning heavily into the new platform's native features such as the walk around mode, dynamic environmental effects, DORT, right, native mission support, and also an integrated EFB. The new tablet can be mounted on the yoke or stowed in a leg pouch, handling your charts, weight and balance, and your flight planning. Visual refinements extend also to the cabin with feature 2024 native passengers and variant-based cargo configurations. A remodeled cargo pod will also show visible baggage. Ooh, good stuff. So the Kodiak in 2020 received a visual refresh back in February of last year, and SWS used that as a baseline for the new version. However, the developer notes 2024 edition is a structural evolution. The G1000 suite has been expanded to include a full set of screens and options found in the real-world aircraft. Also, the environmental control system has been reworked from scratch. While sound work currently on hold to ensure systems foundation is stable, the project is entering its final stages. SWS indicates development in the very final days, with a release date expected to be announced very shortly. Now again, if you've never flown the Kodiak, it is a superb aircraft, and there are quirks to it. Trims are rudder trim is vital on this on takeoff. Otherwise, you'll end up in the bush. All right. It's a beautiful aircraft. It always looked great, sound great, fly great. There was just there was a lack of consequence I found with this aircraft. What I mean by that is, circuit breakers weren't there. There was no real way to have any sort of mechanical wear and tear in it. You can hot start the engine, sure, but now that this is coming into 2024 with a lot of these options now available, this is really going to transform this aircraft. The Kodiak, it's on my list of must buy. So we'll let you know as soon as this is out for 2024. No news yet if this is going to be a brand new purchase. Will it be an upgrade path? Couldn't tell you. I must chat with Alex. But exciting news nonetheless, because it's one of the greats when it comes to general aviation. One of the greats. A very similar aircraft we'll get to shortly, of course, is the Grand Caravan. But quick news here for Carenado. They've brought their new T-34B Mentor over to FlightSim 2020. Which is pretty cool, I suppose. Look, if you're still using FlightSim 2020, Carenado, I think, hit a real home run releasing the Mentor. This T-34 is a beautiful airplane in FlightSim 2024. It looks great, it sounds great, it has all the advanced features that Carenado have started to put in, like physics and all this kind of stuff. It's a really solid aircraft, and it's beautiful. It's a beautiful airplane to fly, and it's now available over on FlightSim 2020. So 2020 pilots, rejoice. This is an exceptional aircraft from Carenado. It just is. Any aircraft from Carenado, it'll always tick the boxes of, well, it looks great inside and outside, and some of the features, in 2024, that's one one hate, not hate, that's a strong word, one thing that really grinds my gears. They've just utilized the InSim EFB, and some of the options are meh. They used to have their own tablet, and there was a lot of options in that tablet. I'd rather see a return to Carenado's own EFB. That's just my opinion of it. You can still you can still use the stuff in the EFB in the sim, but I just thought it was better when they had their own stuff in it. They just gave you controls over things. But anyway, 2020 pilots can rejoice because it is now available, and it is a beautiful airplane. We've flown this twice. We did it on the news, and we did a live stream with it. And it's very, very nice. It's just a beautiful aircraft. So visuals and sounds, 8 liveries. You can operate the canopy, jettison, tablet-style interface for navigation systems. So you can pop in your GTN 750 if you have one, and so on. So great stuff there from Carenado, making it available over on 2020. Now, Black Square, we broke news of this last week, but they've shared a little bit more detail here now. This is just like I need this in my life now. The Grand Caravan. Black Square came along with the steam gauge overhaul some years back in 2020, whereby, you know, they had a look at the Caravan and other aircraft. There's like a weird bit of like fluff. They came along with a couple of aircraft, the King Air, they did the Bonanza at one stage, and they did the Caravan, and it was a full steam gauge overhaul, but it wasn't just cosmetic. They absolutely dived into the realism, the authentic physics of avionics, just everything. They were just incredible aircraft, but they were using the default Asobo models, which are not bad at all. They're actually very, very good models. This is different. This is now following the recent trend that we've seen from Black Square when it comes about their own in-house aircraft, such as the TBM 850. We can see it there now with the Dukes. We can see it with the Baron. We can see it with the Bonanza, with the Starship. We're seeing lots and lots of aircraft coming from this developer, and each aircraft is every bit as good as the next. These are at a very high standard when it comes to general aviation. They're probably like leading the posse in terms of this is how it's done. Sounds, visuals, the depth of systems, the flight modeling or characteristics of what you would expect the aircraft to do. These are all at a very, very high standard. And now, of course, we have a Grand Caravan on the way. So we know it's in development, but we did get some more news about it here, because it's not just, you know, a slap of paint or here's a model and we'll just put the analog overhaul back into that. Far from it. They're including what you would expect in terms of the tablet, with you know, the engine monitor, electrical monitor, environmental, all that kind of stuff. But they've also tweaked a lot of things and made it more useful in 2024, especially when we look at the new aerodynamics physics. That's CFD stuff, and also has a sound set from none other than Boris, which is just incredible for these engine sounds. So we're very much looking forward to this. The aircraft no longer relies on a default asset. It has its own custom exterior and improved materials for each specific variant. Advanced turbine and failure simulation, with the system simulation introducing deep turboprop dynamics. The developer notes the inclusion of hot starts, compressor stalls, and foreign object debris damage based on the surface type. Modern tablet from Black Square, also integrated with the comprehensive information. And we see from a couple of screenshots here how all of this is starting to shape up. And I gotta say, lads, I mean, the images here, look at the reflection this is top drawer stuff. Gorgeous. And I love the tablet. There's no doubt. I mean, I think the inspiration of this tablet, this came from A2A. They started the ball rolling here. But this is just, you've inspired other creators to do something similar. And us as flight simmers, I mean, I don't know when you fly Black Square aircraft, but I spend a lot of time referencing what's going on in the tablet, be it with environmental, electrical, or how the engine is doing, because the thing is alive. There's consequence to you flying it hard, pushing the engine. There's all of these things to watch for. So it's pretty awesome. The modeling that we're getting and the variants, right? It's not just a Grand Caravan. You'll get your cargo variant, you get a passenger variant, and they've even thrown in an amphibian variant as well, which is very, very exciting. And the fact that it's now their own model. Things that, you know, didn't work in the 2020 version. We couldn't open the doors. We couldn't really interact with what was going on outside. This is completely different. We can go absolutely bananas with this yoke. So I'm very, very excited to see how we get on with this and when it's going to release. For pilots who want to get a head start, the product pages are now live, in which we have get the passenger and amphibian cargo editions of the Black Square Caravan together in a money-saving bundle. So there's a bundle, or you can get one or the other. But like, look at who wouldn't want this in a bundle? Who wouldn't want this, lads? Look at the state of it. It's absolutely gorgeous. And like the details, it has everything the other aircraft have, you know, dirt accumulation, wear and tear. It's fully interactive. The system's depth is all there. But more importantly, what Black Square do, they make these things very accessible. You want to turn off all the realism? No problem at all. You want to, you know, use the default bindings to clear all the remove before flight? Yeah, no problem. You want to individually put the stuff back on? No problem. Like that, Nick is well up to how, you know, his customers want products. He's very aware of it. He goes to FlightSim Expo. So, yeah, some of the images here, absolutely stunning. This Caravan, like, it's gas. I jumped out of one of these. I may have said that to you before. Broke my legs. But it's an aircraft I absolutely adore. And it's that engine as well. It's absolutely fantastic. Any aircraft with a PT6, it's just, yes, we need some. But anyway, loads of information here. We can also get improvements. And there is now available the operating manual, an extensive operations manual, which is now available. How many pages is this, dear reader? 148 pages of the operations manual has now been posted over on Just Flight's website, and you can grab it. And this is where you can do your, you know, your bit of prep work to say, well, hang on, if we're at the stage now, there's information. I would imagine Nick would probably do a couple of videos on teaching us how to operate the aircraft in addition to having this manual, but it's available all now over on the Just Flight website. Go over, download it, have a read of it, and you'll start learning before flying the aircraft some of the quirks. And when you look at some of the avionics features and what's interchangeable, madness, absolutely madness. So that's all available right now over on the Just Flight website. I will pop that link in the chat for you there, lads, if you'd like to follow it and go and grab that PDF of the Grand Caravan. Can't wait for this one. Now, Skyward Simulations. Murphy, you're pressing buttons. Skyward Simulations, their C680 Sovereign Plus. A trailer has just released from... what date was that now? The trailer released from Practically Geek. That was like 2 days ago, was it? 24th? It was yesterday. Jesus, I was thinking, is that the old one? Cessna Citation connoisseurs, Skyward Simulations have published a new trailer for its upcoming rendition of the Citation 680 Sovereign Plus. We broke the news on this a couple of weeks back, but basically, the Sovereign Plus shares a tail, wings, and engines with the Citation Latitude. The Latitude was then stretched into the Longitude. The super mid-sized jet included in certain editions of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and 2024. Now, compared to the Latitude, the Sovereign Plus has a dimensionally smaller cabin. It flies 25 knots faster, flies 2,000 feet higher, and about 300 miles further, with all seats occupied. To top it off, the Sovereign Plus only requires 100-foot more takeoff distance than the much smaller Citation CJ4. Spearsy, thank you very much indeed. 37 months, buddy. Thank you very, very much. Chris Van Halen is here. Good to see you, Chris. Hope you're well. So some of the images we saw already, but this thing just looks absolutely gorgeous. It's like, oh yes, we like this. But we do have a trailer here. So we'll watch this one now from Practically Geek. I can't play the music, lads, because the old tube goes out to me. But we'll play you something here, and hopefully this will work. You know, sometimes I do well with this, but other times, not so much. But we'll see what we can do here as we, you know, we'll press some buttons and see what happens, right? Jesus now, Murph, have you a button for this? What do you reckon sort of music it needs? We'll go with one of these. Doesn't it look only terribly very pretty altogether? And you know what I like about it? It's that design of the tail, the appanage. It's the T-tail is now up at the top, which is down a bit. It looks very like a falcon, doesn't it? An El Dassault or Dassault rambling along. And well, you can see from it, it has this kind of a test kit with it as well. You got the speed probe at the front, some beautiful liveries with it as well. It just looks like a super aircraft. A lot of modern avionics in this. It's all touch glass, right? But it just looks very, very pretty indeed. Great work from Practically Geek with the trailer. Beautiful showcase of it. And yeah, looking forward to this machine. So what do we have here? The sounds are powered by Boris Audio Works for the aircraft, right? 2020 version of the jet features a detailed electrical system model with over 170 simulated circuits, including that for your battery temperature, ground power logic, and interactive breakers. The 2024 version features one of the most advanced electrical systems available in the new sim, with close to 600 circuits, 900 lines, 250 buses, and 80 individual relays. Both versions come with a fully simulated anti-ice system for the wings, engine, stabilizer, and also the windshield, with temperature monitoring and a crew alert system. The bleed air system features an accurate pneumatic layout with APU integration, auto source selection, and it links to the ECS and anti-ice. Hayden, good to see you, buddy. Fuel and hydraulic systems modelled in the Sovereign Plus include realistic fuel cross-feed pump logic and also a gas fluid dynamic model for the hydraulics. It has a FADEC and auto throttle system, which includes thrust limits for all phases of your flight, takeoff servo logic, and also an accurate FMS speed data. Pressurization systems include automatic control with separate cockpit and cabin temperature zones. Oxygen and water usage is also fully modelled with state saving. Pilots will even be able to take advantage of a fully simulated data link with ACARS and CPDLC functionality. There's stuff here I don't even understand. SATCOM VHF modelling is there, and it's modelled, and they'll allow pilots to handle digital ADAS clearances, weather, and also ADS-C. Right? Avionics on the Sovereign come in the form of the expanded version of the G5000 suite, dedicated pages for synoptics, data link, TOLD, cabin management, and system tests and status. The crew alert system is expanded with configurable inhibit states for all major systems, including TOPI, LOPI, and the ESDI. If you know what they are, well done. You have won at FlightSim. To complement this, the tablet EFB shows pilots or allows pilots to manage the payload, ground services, and the system states, including the hydraulics, the fluid, oxygen, and more. Pilots can also display their SimBrief operation flight plan and their Navigraph charts, checklist, and settings for aircraft configuration. In the cabin, the PAX VIP displays features numerous pages and systems for entertainment during the flight, along with enhanced cabin interactions. Numerous interactive exterior panels and cabin details are also included, along with optional ground equipment. We're starting to see this is not like another business jet. This has a barrel load of features put in there. And when you look at it, okay, Cessna citations, right? You're thinking, okay, well, we have one. I mean, that citation 10 from FlightFX is only gorgeous. This is taking that, and it appears to be going up one because the feature list alone, right? According to the developer, performance is in line with a default Microsoft FlightSim aircraft. What? We've no release date yet, but we'll keep our eye on things. This is going to be absolutely huge. If they pull this off, if they get the features in there that they're talking about, this thing could be absolutely incredible. This could be incredible. You know what I mean? So yeah, very much looking forward to this one, and phenomenal video from Practically Geek as well. Great stuff there. Now, before we get into our scenery, it's over to FlightSimTees.com, because Gibbo has been flat out with new designs, and we're going to go new designs, right? New designs. He's working on new designs. We'll go over to the t-shirts and also the hoodies. They've all been updated, so we're going to check them out because he's new designs and I wanted to share them with you. So he recently started a product line that allows you to customize your t-shirts, and these are great ideas for gifts and all this sort of stuff, or even just like represent your own local area in style. Right, so what we have here, we've looked at the airport ones. Give us sent me down a deadly one for Baldonnel. They're just so unique. No one has this sort of gear. It's class. So you can buy these right now over on FlightSimTees.com. You just put in what design you're after, and if it's going to be a custom airport or whatnot that you put in, right? We'll put that gadget up on the top of the screen, because if you do want to buy one, save yourself 10%. Saving money is a good thing. So we're aware of some of the customization options that Gibbo already put into the product line. And then most recently we saw the addition of some warbirds going in there from both the US and also the UK side. Again, we had customizable options. We can put them in different colors. We can put them with different nose art names, squadron numbers, totally customizing things. He's now added in 4 new designs. And what we have here is you can use a phonetic t-shirt, right? I mean, you can only imagine I can only imagine what you lads are going to put in, right? But your name, for instance, right? Aviation geeks will figure out what you're wearing on your t-shirt, whatever your message is going to be. But what you can do here, you have a choice of a number of different style, as in colors, right? But you can also enter in the name that you want, and it'll put whatever you want into phonetics, right? So that's one of the designs. The next one over then, Talk to Me Goose, and I Feel the Need, and Maverick. But these are customizable, right? So for example, see this my call sign T? Maverick is in there just as an idea. It's your name. So if you wanted to put your Discord name or your online name or, you know, your call sign, well, you can absolutely do this. And that's the design in which it'll be in. Your name literally goes into your name. That's pretty cool, right? And again, you know, black, white, or this fancy, Gibbo's mad about this color, but it is nice. I have this in me, is it the Heartbeat t-shirt I have? Absolutely class, right? But anyway, these are all now live on the website. And if you weren't necessarily, you know, wanting to get a t-shirt, well, you can also get it, or get it in a hoodie, right? These are cool, you know. There's, that's Thomas and that's Patricia modelling in Finglas. That's where they were modelling those one day, the other day when the sun was out. And beautiful. But if we have a look at the hoodies, we have the same options on the hoodies, and the hoodies are gorgeous. But you get the idea, right? It's literally your name. These are perfect for gifts or showing off just your online presence, I suppose. They're pretty cool. You'll see the reviews of the site, and this is where it gets important, because yes, you can buy, and I mean this genuinely. 2 reasons why I mean this. 1, well, it's Gibbo, and he's one of us, so one of us. But 2, you can buy stuff on Amazon or Temu or any of these, and the quality just isn't there. Or I've struggled with it. I was like, it's either too short or, like, you know, it's shagged after 2 days. I've worn this stuff, and if you look at the reviews on the website, well, you guys are giving the reviews. It's the names are beside them, right? You guys are actually giving the reviews to say, hey, I have it, I bought it, this is what I like about it. And it's from us, it's our community saying this. That's what you want to see, right? The printing is fantastic. The quality of the garments are very, very good. They're comfortable, they don't fade, they don't shrink. They don't get kind of drooped or laggy, or, you know what I mean? They lose their shape. It just doesn't happen with this stuff. I don't know how he does it. He must, I don't know, maybe he tries them on all day, every day. Yeah, that's grand. I passed the rigorous testing for quality control, and then bundle it in the wash, you know. But header on over, lads. As I said, it's one of us. It's one of us. Gibbo started this last year, and it's definitely going from strength to strength. But it's what you're seeing here is feedback from the community, which is shaping where he's developing next. That's awesome. That's class. I love that. So having these customization options, and the quality is there as well. Shipping, you can't do much with shipping. We didn't like change the rules of the world. That's just shipping, right? But he also has a little teaser here saying a new collection coming soon. Your thoughts, please, in the chat of what you think the new collection will be. I reckon it's either going to be socks or underpants, but I could be wrong. It's happened before. It happened before. So go on over, check out the new designs, and as I said, if you're on the fence about getting this sort of stuff, they're great for birthdays, or, you know, if you're going to any event, Christmas, whatever, or just get, you know what I mean? And you can pick up the stuff, buy directly from the site. All the terms are there. You can see the reviews. And like, the gear is good. Like, that's what really makes this thing what it is. It's good. You know, it's very good quality. So check it all out. It's over on FlightSimTees.com. If you do decide to make a purchase, well, sure, use that little code. You get 10% off. Custom Crocs. I'd love that. Tiny mittens. Oh, mittens! That's a great idea. I love hats, says Paparazzi. New collection underwear that has to be worn upside down. Boxer briefs. There we go. When am I coming to England again? Hopefully this year, Hayden. We're thinking of going to Manchester. You know, I got one t-shirt. Excellent quality, says Vasco. There we are. Give us in the chat, look. How are you? So, looking at the site right now, checking on out, and as I said, it's feedback, and there's loads of areas where you can drop your feedback for for different ideas. If you have your own design, well, reach out to them. It has it all here. Get to know us. You can find out. If you want to get your own designs in there, have a chat with Gibbo, and he can tell you what he can and what he can't do. You know what I mean? So, Murph and Gibbo bobbleheads. I'd have more of a bobblehead, I'd say. But anyway, do check it out because the stuff is class, lads. Class. Now, moving on to scenery. Vertical Sim, with a teased a new Florida and Californian airport for Microsoft Flight Sim. Vertical Sim took to their Discord to tease their latest projects for Microsoft Flight Sim while offering few details, the photo preview and message hints. Well, they have many confident in their guesses of what these projects are going to be. In their announcement, Vertical Sim teased that Disney fans are going to have a very good year and that both airport sceneries are only just minutes away from the magic, implying both airports neighbor Disneyland in California and also Disney World in Florida. Ooh, Flying Tonight is here. Thank you very much indeed for 14 months. Cheers, buddy. Hope you're well. So yeah, Disneyland, California and Florida, or at least that's what we think. That would, however, put Vertical Sim in direct competition if we're looking at an Orlando International Airport. That would put them in competition with Taxi to Gate, who did release the Orlando scenery back in 2023, which, it's all right. It's grand, but like I'd be interested to see what Vertical Sim can do. For the California scenery, Vertical Sim teased that the airport would be one of those looking to avoid hubs. The most obvious choice, probably John Wayne out in Santa Ana, about 15 minutes south of Disneyland. The former so-called base of JetBlue, the airport is another so-called airport, KLGB. Given that John Wayne Airport is closest to Disneyland, it's more than likely going to be Disneyland. So the default KMCO is pretty decent. Yeah, I think so. The default one wasn't too bad. I'd love to see Opalaka executive. I'd love to see that in Florida. I meant just to have like a proper Opalaka down there so we can fly TBMs. Right? Live our Stevo 1 can Evo days. That's what I'd love. But great news from Vertical Sim. They're definitely pushing stuff here, and incredible developer of scenery. Incredible. Like the detail in his airports are class. So looking forward to that. Jesus. Gibbo, you man devil you. Jesus. Gibbo just gifted tears. He gifted tears. He gifted tears to the community. They're all crying. Gibbo, thank you very much indeed for 5 gifted tier 1 subs. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub with thanks to Gibbo Ireland, well, do be sure to say thank you. The man's a legend. Cheers, buddy. ImagineSim, they have released Barbados. Ooh, Barbados. Grantley Adams Airport. So this one, Tango Bravo, Papa Bravo for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and 24. It follows on from a small number of previews from a couple of weeks ago. American, JetBlue, Delta and Air Canada all serve North America, whilst Caribbean Airlines handle the intra-island operations. Speaking of, whilst Virgin and BA operate flights to and from the UK, well, they also do a few shuttle flights from Barbados in their long-haul jets, which can be a lot of fun to fly in the sim. Big heavy jets on short routes, you know. Where is this? The leaderboard on Discord is a fix. Brilliant. The number, or the airport is for both 2020 and 2024, and ImagineSim promising a fantastic level of performance. They have a number of airport buildings, enhanced custom-made hand-placed autogen, and also custom night lighting. There is bespoke building design for the terminal, along with some of the other buildings for maintenance hangars and the like. You can also use the ImagineSim Operations Center to configure your options. You can buy Barbados Airport from the ImagineSim website for £12.99, and we've got some screenshots here. It does look very nice. Barbados, I mean, right, where are you going on holidays? We're going to Barbados. Like, it's a whole load of ocean if you're coming from Europe, but from the States, it'd be a wonderful flight to head down the road there. So yeah, no Skodas though. I'm deeply upset. It looks very nice. I might have to add that to the list of things to check it out. Do you know, Barbados? Anyone been to Barbados here? Can you guys go? Not entirely accurate. Where's this now? Your 3-plane hoodie with the colour flag of Scotland. Insta purchase. Flying tonight. Give Bo an email. I'm sure he can do something. You know. I know how to make that shirt instantly Scottish. You know. Change the planes to like deep fried planes. And put Mel Gibson dressed as William Wallace. I'm telling you, right, brilliant. Now, new previews for Aerosoft's Stuttgart has been released. Aviation Lads producing a new trailer for Aerosoft Stuttgart Airport, Echo Delta Delta Sierra, and they've just dropped a bunch of new images showing off the airport. Developed by Joe Erland and Lucas, forgive me on this one, it looks like Zeroglu. The airport is looking to be one of the most detailed German airports made for a flight simulator. The new previews certainly give the indication that it's going to be a 2024 airport only. Now, Stuttgart is a great airport for many reasons. It's ideal for your airliners, short hops, medium hops in and out of Ireland and the UK. But also, the Air Corps used to fly here during COVID. They were flying PC-12s daily out of Dublin over across to Stuttgart. So this is definitely a scenery I want to grab. It looks fantastic. It absolutely does look fantastic. So I'm looking forward to seeing the trailer. Look at the detail there, look. Right? So it is the primary gateway of the capital city of the German state of Baden-Württemberg, Stuttgart. Single runway international airport serves as a hub for Condor, Eurowings and TUI in TUI Fly Deutschland. With extensive European service and green areas surrounding the airport, Stuttgart Airport will make for an exciting destination. So once we see Stuttgart also being the home of Porsche, there we go. Is it Porsche or Porsche? This is one that'll get you a box in the nightclub. Is it Porsche or Porsche? You tell me. I always say it's Porsche. Porsche. No, it's a Porsche. Anyway, Stuttgart looking absolutely gorgeous. So looking forward to this one from Aerosoft. Now, iniBuilds revealed a brand new upcoming airport, and it is that of Hong Kong International. Ooh. So, long-haul pilots in Microsoft Flight Sim have often sought out high-quality destinations in Asia. Taking on Mega Hub for its scale requires serious optimization and a deep understanding of complex airport layouts. Well, after completing Dallas-Fort Worth, iniBuilds states that they are now applying these lessons learned from that massive project to an equally challenging location. The team has just announced the upcoming release of Hong Kong International Victor Hotel specifically for FlightSim 2024. It's Porsche. Is it posh or idiot? That is in Porsche. Come on, right? The sheer size of this airport makes performance a common concern among the flight sim community. The development team points out that the scenery is built utilizing the latest 2024 SDK features, and they say this approach will maximize performance and stability. Another interesting point from the announcement is that the handling of the currently under construction real-world terminal. The team confirmed they're going to release this new terminal as a free update for customers once the actual building has been completed. An approach into Hong Kong is heavily defined by the surrounding cityscape, and recognizing this, iniBuilds said, well, they're going to build a free Hong Kong City POI pack with the airport purchase. This pack will include 10 notable landmarks, such as the Hong Kong Convention and Exhibition Centre, Central Plaza, and the 2 International Finance Centre. By including these visual reference points, pilots can expect a way more realistic environment rambling in. Jesus, those buttons. That scared the life out of me. I nearly fell off my chair. Hermit something pressed the button and he terrified us all. Hermit, thank you very, very much indeed. Look what he did. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub, but thanks to Hermit something, well, do be sure to say thank you. Thank you very, very much indeed, Hermit. The life was scared out of me, but thank you very much indeed. This looks absolutely class. I've no trailer. There's no trailer yet, but just have a look at some of the detailing on this. Has anyone picked up Dallas Fort Worth from iniBuilds? And it is a cracker. Considering the size, it's a cracker, right? iniBuilds have... Jesus! What are you doing? It's getting out of hand! TG Sims has now pressed a button. I don't know what's going on. TG Sims gifting 10 to God almighty, 10 gifted tier 1 subs to the community on here on English. 10 tier 1 subs, pause for effect, gifted to the community here on Twitch. Pause, second effect. All thanks to TG Sims. Lads, if you just got a tier 1 sub, thanks to TG Sims. Well, do be sure to say thank you. Thank you very, very much indeed. You are most generous. Bloody hell, out of nowhere, scaring the life out of me. But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, the iniBuilds scenery, right? They make absolutely gorgeous scenery. Manchester, the most recent one before they did Dallas, they're just top drawer stuff. What was that? Something? Uh-oh. That's coming from this PC. Because I saw it over there. Right, it's over here. The correct pronunciation, according to Mr. TPHI's research, is Porsche. Porsche. There's 2 syllables. Common mistakes many people say is Porsche with only 1 syllable. This is incorrect. Why it's 2 syllables? Porsche is a German name. The founder, Ferdinand Porsche, and in German, the E at the end is pronounced, making it 2 syllables. Now, it's Porsche. What about Nike? Is it Nike or Nike? And if anyone says, is it Adidas or Adidas? Yeah, someone slap you in the side of the head. It's Adidas. You know, after dinner, I did, soon after dessert, I did another. It's amazing what you can do playing on names here. But anyway, this is looking absolutely insanely good. The lighting straight away, and the textures that iniBuilds use. I mean, look at the state of that. Doesn't it look absolutely gorgeous, lads? Phenomenal. So I'm very, very much looking forward to this releasing from iniBuilds. It looks absolutely gorgeous. So Hong Kong International, it's on the way, right? I call it Porsche without the personally. So Flight Log Analyzer updates with lost flight protection for Microsoft Flight Sim users. We had a look at this a good while ago, the Flight Log Analyzer. It's been nearly a year since we looked at it, and back in 2025 it stood out as a helpful utility for simmers trying to merge their history across the divide of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 and then into 2024. As the platform matured, well, the needs of the community have shifted from simple compatibility to data reliability. With reports persisting about logbook inconsistencies in 2024, specifically following updates that occurred last summer, the utility has pivoted. It's no longer just analysing your flights, well, it's now actively trying to save them. A safety net for your logbook. The most significant addition in this version directly addresses a pain point that has kept some virtual pilots from fully migrating to the new sim. Data loss. According to the developers, Gene and Fabiano, that's Fabiano. A number of users have reported flights vanishing from the native 2024 logbook, particularly since Sim Update 2, and it creates a frustration loop where pilots return to the older sim simply to ensure that their hours are actually being counted. Flight Log Analyzer has introduced a lost flight protection system to counter this. The application now records flights as they happen and maintains a local database. If the simulator's cloud sync fails or a flight entry disappears from the native logbook, well, the app detects this and the discrepancy is noted and it restores the entry to its own display. While it can't force the data back into Microsoft servers, it can ensure your personal record remains intact. Beyond that, the application has now upgraded how it tracks where you have been. Previous versions, like many logbook tools, relied heavily on the raw logbook files generated by the sim. These files often contain sparse data points, resulting in flight paths that looked a bit jagged, straight lines cutting through terrain rather than actual flight trajectories. The tool now utilizes SimConnect to record real-time telemetry. The difference in fidelity is clear in the comparison images provided by the developers. And in a flight around Rio de Janeiro, the raw data shows a rough approximation of the route. The increased precision allows for more detailed exports. So basically, it's a way in which you're able to hang on to all your flight data and how you can filter by your flights, your flight time, daylight hours, night hours, instrument, number of takeoffs, number of landings, average time, this kind of stuff. Now, Flight Log Analyzer is available directly from the developer's website. If you're, cautious about committing to a new utility, well, you can test the software for free for 15 days. But after that, then you have to pay for it. A standard license is $15, while a pro license, which are lifetime, costs you $19. Now you might be saying, right, this is local data and it's using their servers to keep it back up. And it's basically logging all of your flights. And this could be great for some people. But in case you didn't know, I mean, we have a lot of alternatives out there already. SayIntentions has its own flight logs. You can see all your flights, provided you're flying with SayIntentions. And the same could be said when you're flying with our virtual airline. Once you connect to LRM, it's doing the exact same thing, or at least in theory it should. It's tracking your takeoff, your landing, where you're going, fuel burned. It tracks all of these things. But this is something you keep more kind of local. And if you want it, well, you can buy it, right? So that's where it is. It might be one of few, but I've never really looked at the logbook in either sim. Yeah, I don't know. Like, what are your thoughts on logbooks? How important is a logbook to you when you're flying? I mean, there's so many things now, like Volanta, you know, there's a lot of stuff there that will actually actively track your flight and build up all your log history, right? FS Hub is a great solution for that, using LRM. Yeah, Volanta pretty much is the same. Doesn't bother you, Spitfire? Who mentioned Peugeot? It's not called Peugeot. It's Peugeot. It's French. Peugeot. Did the French call it Peugeot? If they do, they're saying it wrong. If it isn't a real aircraft, don't really care about the logbook. Yeah. Never say that again. It's Peugeot. Who says Peugeot? There's no R in Peugeot. Peugeot. So, Balbro, is the way I'm saying it Peugeot? Is that correct? At least you can PyRep. Yeah, you can do PyReps. Yeah. Yeah, that's it, Hayden. Yeah, Peugeot. It's Chevrolet. Brilliant. I never worded that way. Peugeot. There we go. Right. Peugeot. Right, anyway. Mercedes or Mercedes? We could be here for a while, lads. But anyway, we move on. Something pretty cool, and I love seeing this being covered. Lord Freet, or Lord Frights. People call them different names. Lord Freet, anyway. Flying Fries, who we know is an absolutely mad fella when it comes to developing aircraft. We've seen it from the XF-11, the Gabrielle, one of my favourite absolute aircrafts, the Scrappy Yard Monster, which is just... right? And of course, then we had the Quasar, a futuristic concept that wasn't just, hey, press a button and go flying. There was science put into the development of the Quasar. Well, Flying Fries is working on multiple projects, and this one here we can actually see the man in action, because we have a behind-the-scenes look at development of the upcoming Mi-24P Hind. This is pretty cool, right? So, we usually only get to see the polished trailers, and you might get a couple of screenshots. This is a little bit different. Flying Fries gave the community a front row seat into the struggle of building an aircraft in a live stream focused on the upcoming Hind. It wasn't a flashy showcase, but rather a transparent look at the hidden work that separates a basic model from a good flight sim experience. We don't usually feature this kind of insight into what goes on behind the development of an add-on, but opportunities like this are rare, says Vasco. Even if you're not particularly interested in helicopters, you might still be curious about getting into aircraft development. And that's why this video will give you an absolute look on this. So it's a 2-hour video, and it's just showing you the processes and a genius at work, lads. Have a look at this for the moment.
Et ce que je vais faire, je vais prendre ces deux points et je vais lui dire de tracer un trait. Voilà. Ensuite, je vais virer ces deux faces.
Now, if he were to say Peugeot, he'd pronounce it as Peugeot. Moving on.
Alors que pourtant, j'avais déjà commencé à le
Oh, jeez, it's still in French. Come up here.
face orientation.
There we go.
You will see that everything is blue because you don't want to be able to see through the mesh. If I had something like that, that would be, for instance, red. It means that it wouldn't be rendered in the sim, and you would see clearly right through it. I don't know if it's clear. I suppose it's clear. So that's why you always have mesh behind, and everything is blue until you go through, and there everything is red because you are on the interior of the mesh.
Hello there.
Now, in that one little snippet, in that one little snippet, you're seeing Lord Freet working on aircraft development. And, like, you always try and put your mind into this. You're thinking, well, hang on, is it like some sort of a digital kind of production line, right? How do they put all the different assets together? But it's usually in a very calm environment, and it is literally hours upon hours upon hours doing this, right? And you really get a sense of passion from developers when they showcase the aircraft for the first time. Bearing in mind, they've seen it transform from a couple of lines on a screen into maybe a 3D object, then it gets textured, then it gets systems, then it gets functionality, and then it gets released, right? So when you look at that transition over however long it takes, in some cases, years, depending on the project, right? It's such a wonderful insight to see, well, this is one way of how it works. It's a fascinating insight. I mean, when you think about a lot of the products that you really enjoy and the depth, be it the visual fidelity, the systems, and that's before you even touch on the sounds, and knowing, well, that sound file must be associated with this particular area of the 3D model, like a door open, or it could be a breaker switch. You know what I mean? It gets very complex, and like, my head is sore, Max is here, good to see you. But it's a great insight to see what the crack is. It just is, because we'll always look at the end result, and later on in the video he's getting into like the texturing stuff and shapes. Like, it's absolutely nuts what goes into an aircraft. When we look at it, we buy it and we say, yeah, it looks nice. When you see the amount of work that can go into aircraft development, it's staggering. And it's great to see this, right? It may not be everyone's cup of tea to be like, I don't have all this, but like, to me, I find this absolutely fascinating. This is looking at a developer absolutely honed in on what their craft is developing. It's building stuff for us to go off and enjoy, right? So it's great to see news like this covered, because there's so much more, behind the scenes when we look at aircraft development. There's so much more, and like little imperfections and time spent and problem solving, and it doesn't allow for this or it doesn't allow for that. You know what I mean? It's mad stuff. Max says, Murph, is SayIntentions worth it? Yes. Short answer, yes. Max, we can go into so many details of why or what experience you're looking for, because it's far more than ATC. The joy of unwrapping a textures in the mesh. Yeah, Malky, right? It's unbelievable, isn't it? Mr. Pauly, good evening. Quokka, good evening. Welcome in, lads. Doing that at the moment, Blender modeling of your little village. The same goes for scenery development. Roy has done scenery for Maastricht and X-Plane. It's the same level of, you're looking at this mold and you're looking at this screen and you're trying to mold things in the right shapes. It's incredible to see it in action, But yeah, absolutely fantastic. So great to see this covered, and the video is on YouTube. Go check it out, lads. It's such an eye-opener, I think, when you start looking at how these aircraft actually become a thing, or scenery for that matter. Remember, we were chatting to Jeppesen and Two Cats back in the day. They were building scenery. Like, how on earth did you manage that? Just incredible stuff. Epic Fool does it for helis as well. It's unreal, Anyway, public voting has opened for the FlightSim Awards 2026. I put out an announcement over on our Discord. Make sure you get in and you vote. What they did, we were involved, as were many others. We went to our communities and said, right, lads, we need you to start recommending who you think should fall into a certain category. And based on what you guys submitted, it all gets collected, goes back into the central frame, and then they say, right, these are the most popular ones. They make it into the round of voting. So if you have a jaw on you because, they didn't do it right, but did you vote in the first place? If you didn't vote, well, sure, it's like not voting in real life. How did they get in? Well, did you vote? No. It was just, sit down, shut up. Right. But anyway, the FlightSim Awards are happening this year at FS Weekend, and the list of nominees has now been set, so it's up to, us as a FlightSim community to start voting. It is our vote that casts who the winner is going to be in each and every category. That's how this works. It's a public vote, right? So do be sure you ramble on over to the FlightSim Awards website. Again, it's linked over on our Discord, and make sure you get voting in there. Moving on, the Navigraph Survey has opened up for 2026. If you don't know what this is, it's a community survey that Navigraph has hosted since 2018, and they ask a number of certain questions. And the questions may not make a whole lot of sense to us. Some of them do, of course they do, but they really do help guide developers, not only of third-party products, but even the core products themselves. It gives a good indication to see, well, what the community trends are based on a number of different questions. Now, if they've done something different this year, the layout I felt was a little bit different. There was maybe areas they didn't go into that I would have liked to see, and maybe there was areas they went into I didn't like to see. But either way, this is just the start of the entire process that Navigraph have to do. They have to go off now and get all the information back, and then they do a very detailed report on it. This will, according to Navigraph then, give us the KPIs, the key point indicators, to say, well, this is the most flown aircraft or scenery or simulator. That's where you kind of get this idea from. The vast majority of the users, based on the survey, well, they're on Xbox or they're on PlayStation, or, you know what I mean? That's where you get all this information from, right? That's the young fella back. Did you hear all my alarms? Beep, 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 beep. Brilliant. Hello? Hello there? There's no one. Imagine if someone's standing in me hall. That's scared the shit. Hang on. I'll go out and look. Hello? Hello there. Would you not have said hello to me, and I had to go into the hall now thinking, we're under an attack. Tommy, Willie, cover the upstairs. We don't have an upstairs. Right, anyway, yeah, it's all right, lads. It's young fella. It's grand. Jesus. Imagine, walking out and you're seeing like someone not belong to your household in your hallway. I'd have to throw something at them. Me Crocs would be the first thing, Right, they're like a boomerang. But anyway, the Navigraph stuff. So it's now live. And it's important if it takes about 10 minutes to fill it out, maybe less, right? It takes a few minutes to fill it out, but the importance of this, I think, is very, very strong for flight simming, because it'll tell us these are the aircraft we use. This is how long we're spending in a normal flight sim session. These are the people who are actively in training for real world aviation versus those who are not actively. So like, okay, do we want to gamify it more? Is there scope? For me, for content creators, it gives us an idea to say, well, people watch more content on YouTube, or they watch it more on Twitch, or they prefer the other short form, it could TikTok or whatever. Also, there was questions in there about any of the events. And what I liked about Navigraph have done this year, yeah, they list off all the main events, right? They'll put in things like, your Oshkosh and your, Sun and Fun and your Flight Sim Expos and FS Weekends. They allow you to put in your other. So, of course, Murphy put in, well, our meetups, because we've had awesome meetups. We've had Dublin a couple of years running, and we had the UK. And we're going to continue on with that sort of trend. Just need to figure out what we're doing. For the UK one, nothing's planned yet. Ideas, certainly, maybe leaning towards... mainly, we're leaning towards potentially going to Manchester Airport in August for a night, right? Do a bit of plane spotting and something like that. So that's what I'm thinking so far, but we'll see. Who throws a shoe? Disappointed on the lack of Murph in the survey. Disappointed on the lack of Murph. Lack of Murph? What do you mean? Lack of Murph in the survey. In which ones? Well, I'm in it. My logo's there. They didn't have it at the start, but they threw it in after. Like, oh yeah, that Murphy fella, sure, didn't he? But a lot of the partners, we don't necessarily, feed back to them to say, hey, we want this question or we want that question. Yeah, we have ideas, but the partners are very much involved with getting the word out there, so people take the survey. And because I think it's a very important survey, because, as I said, there's things that'll help me. Right, where are people watching content? What are they flying? What they like, what they don't like, right? That helps me to kind of steer a bit of content, or, there's a bit of a demand for this. Okay, well, I'll look into it. Or it's oversaturated. People don't care about this anymore. Why are you wasting your time? Does all these little things, they feed into us, right? Are there more people flying helicopters this year than last year? That's a big question to ask. Are there more people using VR this year than last year, or maybe less? What are the graphics cards of people? And that's what they're asking, right? They'll ask, what sort of graphics cards? That's very good information to me, because if I say, well, look, the vast majority of graphics cards out there right now are like the 3000 series, well, that really helps someone like me to say, well, right, Murph, go off now. I have a 3080 in here. go off and start testing the sim to see, well, can I find any enhancements or efficiencies that I can then go back and say, hey guys, here's a video. I figured out how to do this. I want to share it with you. You know, that kind of a way. And it also helps out aircraft developers as well. So make sure you check it all out. It is the Navigraph Survey. I'll give you the link. It only takes a few minutes. You don't need to put your name in. There's no email. You just horse in answers. And they'll probably do it region based on IPs, I imagine. All right. It helps out a lot of the development side, but also the content creation side. But overall, it helps us all out. This helps the flight sim community because it can show our trends, you see. You know what I mean? So do be sure to check it out. Now, briefly, over to some X-Plane news. Lots of news in X-Plane. Nimbus Simulation Studios, well, they're teasing their upcoming 707 over in the world of X-Plane 12. We have 3 screenshots, mentioned that the wings and the engines are now in the paint shop, and they mentioned that the internal mechanisms for thrust reversers and control surfaces are now fully modelled into the aircraft. So these guys are building what they call a study level 707. There's a lot of advantages to the systems when it comes to X-Plane, right? So yeah, great news there. No idea when they're going to release this. But they are working on a 707, which is going to be pretty cool for X-Plane, I think, you know. Hey, Crowdy, did it this morning while trying to wake up. Yeah. Did the survey last night when I couldn't sleep. I think it was 3 a.m. There you go. There should have been a section in the FlightSim Awards for comments, etc. Yeah, feedback is it's not only important, it's vital. But yeah, I mean, look, what we'll do, let the event run. For the awards, let's see how it goes, and afterwards, then, well, we'll have a discussion about it, and we'll see. Well, okay, is there feedback we can give back to the event organisers? Say, hey, would you look into this, or would you consider that? Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so great news there from Nimbus. Flight Factor, their 777 has gotten an update. They've released a new update for their 777 over in X-Plane 11 and 12. This update introduces several small visual and usability improvements, including an option to show ghost throttle levers on the ECAS and simulated upper bezel. On the system side, they've resolved a range of state, FMC and autoflight issues, and VNAV logic has also been refined. Elsewhere, route handling has also been improved. Now, there was something else that Flight Factor did. I didn't see reporting it, or maybe they haven't released it just yet. They're adding in, at the moment, you can communicate with your ground staff, your pursers, co-pilot, through like a menu system, right? You've pressed the buttons on your FMC, so I want you to do this. It looks like they're moving this to be voice activated, or they're going to have an option to use either the key commands or voice activation, which could be very, very powerful, because it's one of those limiting factors in X-Plane. If you were just able to say, you know, press the button on the purser, you know, Jemima, yeah, would you arm the doors, please? You know what I mean? Game changing. And when you're looking at the depth of simulation and the quality that Flight Factor have put into this 777, anyone who's flown this aircraft will tell you, they'll just tell you, the depth of systems on this thing are remarkable. Remarkable. It's an incredible airplane. And, you know, if you're looking for a study level experience of a 777, this is it. PMDG do a fine job, damn fine job. But this thing, in some areas, miles ahead. In other areas, it's not too bad. PMDG, you know, they have their own pros and cons, don't get me wrong. But I think this would be the high-end ultimate experience, I think, my opinion, of a 777. I think it's excellent. If you're into your 777s, take a serious look at this aircraft. I have it. Ask me about it, or I can stream it someday for you if you want to sit down and see the thing in action, because it's a fairly hefty investment. But I would say worth it, right? I would say worth it. Now, speaking of investments, XCrafts have finally released the ERJ Family 2.0 for X-Plane 12. This is awesome. We've seen the changes when you look at the ERJ family, and anyone in Microsoft Flight Sim thinking, XCrafts model is what, Flight Sim Studios use, or at least they use part of it. This is the best simulation of an ERJ period, of this family of aircraft, period. It's the best, right? Version 2 has built on years of refinements and updates and upgrades and all the jazz. And what we have here, you can buy an aircraft individually, and that includes, you know, an Embraer 135, a 140, a 145, an XR, and even the legacy 650 business jet. Now, you can buy these individually, and they're priced at like 70 or 80 bucks each. Or, yeah, look, they're like $70 US each, right? Or you can buy the entire ERJ family, which includes all variants, for $140. Now, you might say, is that fella all right? Are you telling me it's $140? But you're getting a lot of aircraft, and they're all, like, these are study level. Like, they're high-end, high-fidelity, the latest and greatest in terms of what you can do and X-Plane. They're way up there. If you are a previous owner, there is an upgrade path. I haven't seen it mentioned, or maybe it was. There you go. Pilots who purchase one variant can upgrade later. That's one of them. But there's also an upgrade if you bought these. If you bought these aircraft back in X-Plane 11, for example, there is a cost reduction. But it's only valid until like the 3rd of March. So you want to get on that quick. If you bought them over in the X-Plane.org store, just go on in, add the family to your basket, go to checkout, you'll see a reduction. It's roughly half price, roughly, give or take. Have a look at it. But yeah, absolutely brilliant. The Real Snevo, welcome in. These are an exceptionally good aircraft. I will be flying these on Tuesdays or whatever coming soon. Have a look at the trailer here, because it's just, these machines are class. And like, when you see what XCrafts can do, that's the developer behind this, and they're so nice. When you see the logic and the menus and how well they're able to push their products using X-Plane, you know, you're like, ooh, this needs to come into Microsoft Flight. It just does. This level of stuff, it's absolutely class. But have a look at this and see what happens, right? I think I can play this. Maybe I can't. Hang on. Music Maestro. Now, I think everyone kind of has the same kind of reaction. X-Plane, for the vast majority of people, especially X-Plane 12, we all kind of go, Jesus, that looks very good. And then a split second later, Jesus, it looks terrible, right? That's where it's at the moment. However, I will say this. These aircraft, these family of aircraft are all at a very, very high standard and level. They're the logic, the system's depth. I remember watching a stream where they were talking about, getting the font correct, custom coding the font, pixel by pixel. That's the level, they've gone into here, right? And yes, there is ERJ. We have Embraer aircraft and Microsoft FlightSim at, FlightSim Studio. And we know FlightFX have announced they're going to bring a 145 to the fray, which is great news. However, just because it's on X-Plane, for a lot of people, you might be thinking, I don't know. It can give you such an incredible experience. It really can. Like, these are exceptionally good aircraft. The Lineage is probably my favorite out of the fleet prior to getting the new ERJ 2.0 family, because they have a legacy 650 in this, which is absolutely gorgeous. It's stunning. Right. I haven't spent much time in it. I've literally powered it up. I was reading the operations guide of how to do it. The pop-up screens and helping you out and explaining what everything is, it's It's excellent from a user learning perspective. I think XCraft have done something incredible here. They'll very much hold your hand and teach you the logic of the aircraft. Because there's certain things you do that I would do in an Embraer, and it just wasn't working. I was like, what the hell? It's broken. It's not broken. Read it, study it, learn it. And then it's very satisfying when you start doing that. But yeah, they're incredible. Great aircraft to have in X-Plane. And if you're on the fence about X-Plane, it's, I can't compare X-Plane to Microsoft Flight Simulator, because for me, they are so very different in a lot of ways. They're both flight simulators, of course they are, but they're very different. Microsoft Flight Sim is, without a doubt, my absolute favorite sim. It just is. I adore it. But I always keep X-Plane in there, and I'll always jump into X-Plane because, well, I love what Laminar do as well. I mean, they got some really good features. They got some great, efficiencies and automations built into their platform. And you have some of, the best third-party developers still creating add-ons for that platform. It's very, very good. So, yeah. P.S. Mirandai, 33 months. Hello there. Thank you very much indeed. It's good that they push each other. 100%, Scott. It is so important for us as the end user that we have competition. Competition is very healthy for us because X-Plane will go one direction, Microsoft will go another direction. All the time, both platforms are getting better at what they do best. We benefit from this. We just do. This is brilliant, right? X-Plane has followed a lot from what Microsoft have done, and Microsoft have followed a bit from what X-Plane have done in terms of the systems. And we're looking, eventually we're going to have this gateway scenery thing. These are X-Plane ideas. X-Plane definitely focusing on the visuals, right? Bringing their platform up to a more visual standard. Well, that only came from Microsoft Flight Sim, so they do batter the crap out of each other, but we benefit. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'll be flying one of these soon. I might do a jaunt next Tuesday because I want to learn the aircraft anyway, but we'll see what the crack is. Now over to SayIntentions. Now we know what the crack here is with the RAS. We covered this last week. This is now a feature that's available to all subscribers of SayIntentions. It's the runway alert or runway awareness and advisory system. On runway 26. 4,000 feet remaining. That's all included, which is great because, there is dedicated third-party software that you can buy and it works, but SayIntentions have included that to their subscribers. There's a saving there, right? And it has the features like on taxiway, long landing, that kind of stuff. Anyway, what we have then this week from SayIntentions, we have two emails. First of them, the first is a setup guide, right? I don't know if people are under pressure getting SayIntentions actually installed, set up, and up and running. I mean, we talk about SayIntentions here all the time because they do incredible things. But I'm wondering, are folks feeling a little bit overwhelmed with how do I make it work? What can I actually do in SayIntentions? And can I customize my experience in SayIntentions? Right? Question there already. Is SayIntentions realistic? It can be. Yes, of course it can. Can it be more user-friendly and not as strict? Yeah, of course it can. We have the tools now in order to be able to kind of, be the masters of our own experience, if you like, right? So SayIntentions have this kind of step-by-step guide what to do. And there's, they've put in a lot of user helpful features. What do you need to say to ATC, for example, right? So they have a little free cheat sheet. And anyone who met me at the events, I got a few of these from SayIntentions. I hand these out. But they're giving you an idea of, well, here's a little script to help you. So you can print this off, keep it on your tablet, get it laminated, keep it there beside you. Now you have an idea of roughly what to say. It doesn't have to be word for word. Or there's a setting in the pilot portal. No, it has to be word for word. You see where we're going with this. So you have these kind of cheat sheets where this is what you're going to be saying at the different phases of flight. What ATC should say, what a center would say, and so on. What tower would say, what the pilots... You get the idea, right? So they've included all of this, and there's quite a bit here, right? Multiple options here. And that's only the getting started. So what we have here is kind of a step-by-step. I'll probably do a video on this, but we have a step-by-step of, well, this is where you get the latest client, right? This is how we're going to set it up on our PC. This is what we need to do to go through our initial settings, like, if you're on Discord, merge your Discord account, what hardware you're using in terms of your sounds, in terms of you need a button for push to talk because you need to communicate to the software using a button which is set to push to talk. You can't just talk, you got to press a button, right? Just like it is in a real airplane. And SayIntentions also have upgraded their system whereby you can actually now, if you didn't want to talk, you can actually just click the prompters and they'll communicate with ATC on your behalf. Or indeed, there's another element of SayIntentions, your co-pilot, and they look after ATC communications. You literally say, co-pilot, you look after ATC, I'm flying the plane. And they'll talk back to you. No problem. You can do all these things, right? Then you want to look at, right, well, what do I do with SayIntentions? I mean, what is it? It's so many things. First and foremost, you'll say, okay, ATC, this is going to provide me with an AI solution for air traffic control, meaning it will simulate the position of air traffic controllers. That's one thing. Next to that, then, it'll do, if you want, traffic injection. You need to feed it the models. It'll use your default models, but I'd recommend you feed it the models in which to inject into your sim. And you can use models from, well, you can use anyone's models, AIG, FSLTL, Just Flights, the IVEO ones, the VATSIM ones, the VMR files, Blue Line or Classic, whatever they were called. You can use all of those, just don't use their injectors. Let SayIntention do the injecting for you. And then when we look at traffic injection, you can select how much you want to see. Do you want to be able to hear the other aircraft or turn it off? And now they have this new feature called Traffic Plus, where the details and the data that SayIntentions get, it's real world data. So they'll know these are all the aircraft that fly in this region. We can see them on FlightAware, right? They have the data of all the routes. If an aircraft, however, is flying that is perhaps not, the data isn't being pushed forward to a FlightAware. Say their ADSB information just doesn't get polled. Well, if that information isn't there, well, SayIntentions can't then inject that because it doesn't have data for it. Or if you're at an airport, let's say Dublin Airport, and you want to go flying, you set up your sim and you say, you know, I'd like a night flight here because I want to do a morning arrival into wherever. So I'm going to depart out of Dublin Airport at like 2 o'clock in the morning. Now, previously, SayIntentions would follow the trends of what Dublin Airport would be doing in terms of traffic at 2 a.m. Very little. You'll see the gates occupied, but there's not much flying going on because, well, there's no flying. They've all these noise abatement and all this sort of jazz. However, with Traffic Plus, you can say, no, I want to activate the Traffic Plus side because that will then fill the gap between the real world stuff and, well, other real world flights, but it'll just position it into a different time. So you could have a very active airport at like 2 o'clock in the morning. We had a brief look at this a week or two ago. Wasn't working right. It is now working. We'll do it again. I'll probably do it on, not when I'll do it, I'll probably do it next week, just to show you the difference. Another side of it then we have is the checklists. So you have your ATC sorted, you have your traffic injection sorted, and your co-pilot, and you can talk to your co-pilot, you can talk to your cabin crew, you can talk to the ground crew. Hey, I need a pushback. No problem. Where are you going? I'm going to Tuck Release Point, Papa. No problem. It can do all of these things. And if there's anything missing, well, SayIntentions give us the tools, like Taxi Tuner, for example, which is just, it's web-based. We can go in and say, well, no, he moves this way and I want him to stop here. It's very intuitive and it's all in the pilot portal, right? Outside of all of that, then we have Skynet. Now, Skynet is another name, but basically what it does, it replaces the online Microsoft Flight Sim gaming servers for multiplayer. Now, it's PC only for now. Basically what it does, you could choose not to fly using Microsoft Flight Sim's online servers because maybe the ping is shocking, maybe the model matching is shocking, which it is, right? Or maybe you just want to have your own private group and you don't want to see anyone else in the air. Well, you can do that with Skynet. It gives you all the options to say, well, here's your group code, and you can invite people to it. You can use this new feature called Groupie to actually set up an entire flight. We're going to start from this parking spot. Here's our entire route. These are our alternates, and here's our destination, along with here is where we're going to park. And not only that, you can also use ATC, and you can communicate pilot to pilot, which is something that should have been in the base sim. We should be able to tune our radio into a frequency and talk to our buddy flying beside us. Can't do that yet. You can do it with SayIntentions. outside of all of that, you then have SkyOps. Now, SkyOps is a mission injector that doesn't require you to leave the sim. You can load in any aircraft, any airport, or any location, dial in the frequency, and talk to SkyOps. And with SkyOps, you can ask them, or you can choose. Indeed, you can go off and create your own template that they'll read back to you. A certain type of mission. That could be a VIP flight, it could be search and rescue, air ambulance, cargo, or your standard passenger flight. Some of the search and rescue stuff, SayIntentions will inject scenery into your sim. For example, there's 2 hill walkers, you know, they're freezing up the hill. You need to go up and save them, right? We're on our way. And then you can communicate to SkyOps to say, hey, will you get them to launch a flare? And can I, you know, so you can see them? You're flying along, and next thing you'll see a flare go up. It's like, it's incredible, right? Firefighting is in there, which I absolutely suck at because I couldn't put out the fires. The poor old bog below in Offaly is still burning, lads. But anyway, you get the idea. And then you have all of that complemented by another product called Pocket Sky. Now, Pocket Sky is an app that lives on your phone. Pockets, just call it Pocket. They get the names. I don't know where to get the names from. Pocket Sky is your companion app that will allow you to interact with everything that's going on, be it with your co-pilot or your cabin crew, with ATC, with SkyOps, with all of these things from your mobile phone, which means if you're in a long-haul flight for hours over the Atlantic, I'm going in now to watch the end of Murder, She Wrote, you can be on your couch, keep your phone on you, it will ping you when you have to do something. And you can respond via the app as well. You can also do this for SkyOps. You can put yourself on call. Right, I'm going to sit down here now and watch The Simpsons until 3 o'clock. And next thing, SkyOps is buzzing your phone through the app saying, hey, we got a mission, you need to get to it. It's so very much more than ATC. So just remember that. There is a free trial if you want to jump onto it. If there's any particular area you'd like to get a little bit more kind of spotlight on, there's loads of great content out there. SimBlitz is doing great stuff. Ozflight is doing great stuff. Let me know if there's an area, and I'm more than happy to show you. Well, this is how I use it. This is what I do. I use SayIntentions all the time, especially from if I'm getting into video recording. I'll say, well, I need SayIntentions. Well, I want traffic. I don't want to take off from an empty runway. Do you know what I mean? So you have all of these things there. So let me know, lads. Toto says, would SayIntentions link with Navigraph so we could see other pilots like we can with VATSIM? Would SayIntentions link with Navigraph so we could see other pilots like we can on the VATSIM map? So you're looking for a map to show you where VATSIM traffic is. That's something we need to ask Navigraph. And I'm meeting with Navigraph at FS Weekend, and I'll be absolutely bending their ear to, hey, will you do this? I think on the Navigraph map, which is it's a great map, because you can see VATSIM, you can see whatever. I want to see more. To have VATSIM and IVAO, I want to see Pilot Edge, I want to see SayIntentions, I want to see them all, right? On the other side of it, well, if Navigraph knows where you are, it may not necessarily know where all its other users are. And if it does, which it should, maybe it does it show other pilots? Well, that's something we can ask SayIntentions. Hey, can you capture that data and put it on your maps? Because they do it. SayIntentions will show you AI traffic, real traffic. They'll show you all the different traffic layers. You know. Andy Brown, good to see you. Just got home from driving your trains. Hope you're well, buddy. Hope you're well. But anyway, if there's anywhere in particular, I'm going to start off with my own kind of an idea here of setting up SayIntentions and getting it working. The most fun I have with SayIntentions, I think it's SkyOps for me, because I love just loading into an Alouette or hopefully soon a Dauphin. All right, give us a mission. We're going to have to save, Johnny 40 coats up the hills, or, maybe there's an accident, or we got to transport someone. And when you see the customization options with SkyOps, we poor old Muse there, we're flying him as a VIP over to Liverpool or something. Do you know what I mean? So you can have a lot of fun with it. But I get that a lot of users could be a little bit, Jays, there's so much here. So if there's somewhere that you would like to say, right, Murph, can we focus on this and we'll get up and running? Let us work on that. SayIntentions is a paid subscription. It's not a one-time buy. It's a subscription service, and the reason being is the tech behind it. It's server-based. It's using voices. It's using AI genius stuff. So there's a cost to that. Hence we have a cost. But it's at the lowest price since ever. Prices have come down, even though they thought they were going up. It may not be for everyone on a subscription base. You can, however, shorten that. You don't need to, opt in for 12 months. You can get like a 6 months pass now. So try and plan it that you'll say, right, well, I'm going to put in, 2 or 3 hours a week. When you kind of work that out, and then is there a cost for flying? It works out very little. I mean, you actually start getting into the cups of coffee territory, the price of a cup of coffee, right? But there is a free 24-hour trial. I highly recommend give the trial a go. As I say, it's far more than ATC. You want to talk about, your pilot logs? They're all there. Checklists, they're so powerful, and you can create your own. You can create your own checklists that, they'll talk back to you. It's unbelievably good. So, and it's only getting better. They're adding more features to it. There's more optimizations going into it. There's more bug fixes going into it. And it's all based on the feedback that we get from the community. We have to report back to them. We can't just say, it didn't work very well, but what happened? Was there an issue? Yeah, well, will you tell them what the issue was so they can fix it? They have a lot of users, I have SayIntentions, try do first start, no VATSIM later, go fly on VATSIM. Yeah, Titans, yeah. So, and again, another feature, they have a handover from VATSIM to SayIntentions and SayIntentions back to VATSIM. Great idea. Great stuff there, lads. But anyway, as I said, we'll start working on a couple of topics to get us up and running using SayIntentions. But if there's anywhere in particular you guys would like, we have our own Discord forum where we talk about SayIntentions, and I'm more than happy to put together some sessions or videos or whatnot. It's a great way if you see us flying on a Thursday night on VATSIM and you're saying I really want to do that. SayIntentions will help with that. It just will, because you'll start getting used to running your aircraft and being able to navigate and communicate to ATC without any fear of someone giving out to you. It's only AI, sure, you're not going to care unless it's your one Sarah again. Oh, right. So you have the idea. So yeah, we'll do that probably a little bit more next week. So if you have any questions, just hit us up over on Discord. Right, now we're moving on abruptly. We have sounds, and now we've 3 things to check out right now, folks. We have the updated HJet from FlightFX. We have Rome Ciampino from SimPixel, and then we're going to be checking out the Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer. So we'll start off here with the HJet. So Maron made this some time ago. It's a while now since this has been released, right? But the HJet, based of course on the Honda Jet, which is a very unique and wonderful airplane. Private business jet, right? And well, the changelog coming into Microsoft FlightSim 2024, it is now a native 2024 aircraft. And what I want to show you here is kind of beneath the surface, because there's a lot of customization options, particularly when it comes to the avionics, you may or may not have realized before, right? From the visuals, we have new textures, new objects, polycounts, all that kind of stuff. Removed before flight. The model has been tweaked. There's beautiful reflections on it. Again, if look at see that kind of Technicolor kind of shadow from the wind. See that color? Like, there's some class features added to this aircraft. Absolutely gorgeous. Bit mapping or whatever they call it. It's a cool looking jet, and the performance of it is fantastic. And I think one of the biggest, one of the biggest things to state about this aircraft, this has been a free update to existing owners. An incredible amount of work has gone into this aircraft, and it is a free update, which you love to see. You absolutely love to see. Now, does that mean, they've managed to fix every single issue what was wrong in 2020? Not really. I found a couple, right? There's a couple of issues, but these are at the level of, really, Murph? You're really going to call that an issue? They're not really issues. I found a couple, but they're not in any way, shape, or form game breaking, I think, right? And I have a habit of finding things because I go looking for them. But anyway, here we are with the aircraft, and let me see. We'll go into the cockpit, and what we have here again, everything's just been refined. Everything's been tidied up and tightened down. So what we have, I'll give you a quick feature overview, right? Rebuilt the flight model, rebuilt the ground handling, and they've rebuilt the suspension physics. So that's the new fields we have from the aircraft. Custom vertical situation display has been added with terrain elevation. Avionics backend has been updated to working titles version 2 framework, and there's so much in that. Improved autopilot automation logic, enforced G limits, smoother mode transition, rebuilt the auto throttle focused on smoothness and anticipation, enhanced the flight level change mode, electrical system with dynamic load shedding and bus separation logic, fully simulated automatic or automated hydraulic system, custom environmental system using thermodynamic modeling for valve control, fan speed and temperature, automatic anti-ice systems, deployable oxygen masks, fire detection and suppression with functional fire panel, audio warnings and integrated CAS messages, crew alert system with 130 plus base messages, built-in interactive checklist, and we have smart exterior lighting, which they had. This thing has a mind of its own, which is brilliant. It's a native 2024 model. The new structure is using the optimized LOD. Complete cockpit remodel with enhanced detail and clarity. We have the new G3000 displays, paneling, seats, brand new interior cabin with lighting, seats, decorative pillows, carpeting and tables. Improved exterior details. Native passenger avatars can be assigned. Sun visors, lavatory doors, ambient lighting have all been added. Cabin tables, smart glass window shades, and Rufus makes it back. There's a brand new soundscape on this aircraft from Echo 19, which includes new engine sounds, ground roll, improved interaction and cockpit sounds, improved cockpit ambience, other small improvements, a brand new VAMS 2.0 EFB, which I think FlightFX put this into the Piaggio, which this is a great bit of jazz, this stuff. It has to be probably the most versatile tablet maneuverability in the history of being able to maneuver a tablet. You can literally get this thing at any angle, right? And we've new features in there. And it is compatible with the 2024 career mode for a private charter. And we have the 2024 walk-around features such as covers, chocks, ground power unit, and openable doors. Right, brilliant. Did you follow all that now? So visuals, yes, it has seen an update, and I gotta say, lads, it's looking very pretty. We do have options in here. We can, like, you know, you got our tray tables, great sounds, right? You do have a jacks. Doesn't flush, but it's a jacks nonetheless, right? Some of the issues I found, if this sort of crack, right, there's gaps in the friggin' wall and the lights. These are the things I found, but I'm very kind of odd when it comes to this stuff. There was something else I found here as well. You can see out into the outside world through this panel, right? Sorta, nearly. Again, you kind of have to go looking for it. These are very small little fixes, so like it's in no way kind of, you know, there's a gap outside, like you're saying, Jesus, now that could be interesting. So there's a couple of small things, very small things.
Can I get a refund?
There's no refunds. You have buttons here for the shades. See this crack with the shades? Like, isn't that just deadly? Do you ever flew on a 787? They got these shades that the dimmer switches, right? But what I like about these, they aren't fully blackout. So when you have interior lights on, well, you can kind of get that shine from the lights onto the shades. It's pretty cool, right? Very nice. So what we're going to do, we're going to get some power into the aircraft. So if we have a look, we have our Navigraph charts, they're all there, a moving map, OS, and then we have our weights and services. And it's from in here we can get into our weight and balance, add our fuel. You can import this from SimBrief, optimize our center of gravity, add co-pilots, passengers, cargo, all the jazz. And then we have our ground services. We can remove these one by one, or we have a nice way of just removing them when we want to remove them, which includes the chocks, engine covers, doors, all the shebang. So we'll get the door closed. Ground power, we'll go ahead and pop this outside. We'll see the unit appear. We'll also hear the unit. It's that small little orange fella. All right, so we can hear all of this. Now when we go down to this aircraft, this is one of the most automated aircraft I've ever seen. Right, single pilot operation, but it is so automated. So what we're going to do, landing gear is in the down position, flap handle is in the up position, so we're okay for a battery activation. Battery coming on. All our screens are coming to life. You can't test the oxygen, unfortunately, but it's there. There's a mod running in the background, Cyrus T. We do have a absolutely spectacular Firefly Air Platinum livery. I think he's working on the updated one for 2024. The old one obviously doesn't work, so that's why we're seeing that. But what we're going to look at here, once we start up the aircraft, Cyrus is here, he is updating it. Great show, old chap. Awesome. Yeah, Tom Cruise is flying one of these. Yeah. What I want to show you here, we're going to go and activate our external power, but before we do that, I want to show you kind of the logic behind all of these screens. There is so much with the working title avionics that you can do. It's frightening, right? So we'll start off, we're going to go down here to our aircraft systems, and we're going to have a look at the electrical panel. And we can see our main battery voltages, we can see the battery buses, and where we're getting our power from. So we're going to fire this over to external power, right? So we have a button here. External power is now on. We have our cabin power, which we can turn off or on, and our bus ties off or open, right? And you'll see those changing on your screen. So it is following logic, right? Now, when we talk about logic, this is where the aircraft blows you away, right? Simple things, lads. Your lighting controls. You could spend minutes looking around going, how do I control me lighting? Well, it's intelligent lighting. You came to this world looking for intelligent life. How you find them is, go into your system controls, and this is where you control your exterior lights. Now, you can leave them on or off, or if you put it to normal, the lighting is going to follow the logic of the aircraft. Battery comes on, nav lights. You know, beacon light will turn on. As you progress through your checks, it now knows, right, you're going to do an engine start, okay. Once the aircraft starts to move, you get your landing lights, and then based on your throttle position with the gear down, well, your takeoff lights, your landing lights are going to come on, and strobes and all the jazz. Now, if you don't want that level of automation, well, you can turn it off. Hence, I leave things, I like to control it myself, right? And these are all touchscreens, so you click and drag. So I'm going to put on my nav, my beacon, and my logo light. That's over here first. So they're my external lights. Interior lights are all on, right? Right? And then we have a thermostat, and this is going to be our cockpit and our cabin. And if you turn on this to manual in the cockpit, listen to the fan. You hear the fan? It's subtle, but it's there. You can absolutely hear that fan. How cool is that, right? Or you leave it all on automatic mode. I could do with those intelligent lights in my room, right? Hermit, yeah, it's cool what you can do, right? And then you can change the units. So we've other options here now. So we can look at our environmental systems, right? We can have a look at our electrical systems, fuel. We can go to our hydraulics, and all of these systems pages, well, they work. They just work, all right? So before we get diving in too much, we're going to set up the aircraft for a quick takeoff, and we can go by checklists. And you'll notice how my screens here, I can customize what's on each of these screens. And this is where the working title stuff really comes into it. Let's say, for example, I want my pilot not flying or co-pilot. You don't need to see the map. You're looking at, you know, if you give them synthetic vision if you want, right? Where is this now? Sensors, ADC, no. Sensors, AH, no. Not sensors, Murph. Altitude units, wind information is grand. Turn that on. What am I looking for here? Order PFD, no. Flight mode, bearings, attitude, here we go. So we can turn, you can have synthetic display on or off on either side. It's quite customizable, right? But let's say, for example, well, look, I want my co-pilot to have checklists. Well, we can actually move to the other screen. So see the way I move the arrow over? This guy now lightens up. And I'm just, like, there's a small little arrow here beside this button. Well, I'm going to say, well, look, put me checklist over here for me, please. Thanks. And then move the arrow back. And now this screen is highlighted, or move it across again. This screen gets highlighted. So I can choose what I want to display on any of my screens. And this gives you as a pilot so much information, it is ridiculous. Because you have all the information looking at you on the page, right? So LIRA, yeah. So LIRA is saying the canopy looks shagged. That's the design. That is the design. The jagged edges, that's the design of the aircraft. All right? Now, I'm not going to bother with checklist because, well, look, it's Murphy. But I will go with a weather radar. Come across here. Here we go. So let me see. Let's go weather. Weather settings, we'll go with the weather radar, and we'll get a warning if we try and turn this on. Standby weather is going to be like, hey, activating this on the ground, are you sure? Because, you know, jaggedness on the screens. It could be a frame gen thing you're looking at, but no. I mean, you can see individual pixels on the screens. Individual pixels, like. Mad, isn't it? It could be a frame gen thing if you're seeing weirdness there, right? Stream compression, you see it too. Okay. But no, there's like teeny tiny lines, but I think that's frame gen. Yeah. But the detail is there. Anyway, we'll leave that guy on over there. Bearing line sticker on. Now we want to get the aircraft up and running. So we're going to go into our utilities and we're going to go to our initialization. Here we have system tests. So we're going to say, right, I want to do all my tests, please. So we'll go ahead and say pre-flight. Now the aircraft does its stuff. Just have a look at it, because it'll even test the stall shaker. So there's our fire tests. There's our stall shakers. If you have a look, it's all complete. Cool, we're done. Lights have been extinguished. We go back. Now we go to our weight and fuel, so we can look, set empty weight, or do we go into sync all from the sim? Sync it from the sim, that'll give all our information for our payload. Our takeoff, so we can do a fuel on board sync what's in your tanks, and you go into the landing as well. This is where you put in all your information. Speed bugs, we're going to say takeoff. We want these on, we want to get it from the sim, and we can go ahead and turn them all on, or individually, and we can do the same with our landing as well. Alright? So it's just in case, I want to show this because you may not have thought there's much depth to the Honda Jet or the HJet because it's relatively automated. But all the stuff is there, you just need to go looking for it. Alright? So that's all set up. Again, you can lock this in with SimBrief. We can put our charts on over here. So I want this screen on my left to be my charts, right? So if I move this guy, I think it's highlighting that screen, it is. I'm going to come back here now. I want to show my charts. It should load up Ciampino. So I'm going to leave that chart there. Alright. I have my chart options. I can turn this guy into night mode to keep Dougal McTavish happy. Right? So I can actually be flying along with my chart directly here. I can have it on the tablet as well, but if I want it on my PFD, my primary flight display, it's right there. Brilliant. Alright? So, that'll do. And again, you can say, well, you know, what charts do you want to use? You've all these options. Right? Anyway, let's see. So that's looking good. The environmental stuff now on the aircraft. So we're going to go back to this screen. We're going to go to our aircraft systems. We're going to check our environmental. That's going to give us the cabin temperature, the target and what it's currently doing, the cockpit, the target and what it's currently doing, our electrical system. We're going to keep it on the electric. So as we start this, it's a one button solution to start this aircraft. All right, so we're going to start putting some power in it. Down here we do have some manual overrides, our fuel cross feeds, our trim, we have windshield heat, pneumatics. Everything is automatic except for anti-ice, but again you can turn them on and they're set to auto. All right, so to start this machine, very complex. We're going to come over to here, nose wheel steering. Everything's telling me it's in normal, or I can turn it off. It'll come up here in the ECAS to say, hey, you have an issue. Right, we're going to start the right engine first. We're going to hit the starter button. You can see the drop in voltage. You can now see ITT and ends starting to spin. N2 around 20%. Open the fuel. And the sounds. Sounds are good. Yeah, that's a great comment, Mr. TBHI. So there was feedback from FlightFX. They wanted to break the rules. They wanted to have a switch on the PFD to make either screen full screen, even though the real aircraft doesn't allow for that. You can do it on your center screen if you only want to show, let's say, the map full screen. you can. But on these individual screens, as per the real aircraft, you can't. But FlightFX is saying, okay, we'll add it, but you choose if you want that on or off. It's the best solution, right? Best solution. Right, number 2 is running start numero uno. And you're hearing those fans because it's trying to get the temperature up or down, yeah? It's 20%. Fuel in. Isn't it a Williams engine on this? Or it's a Honda engine, isn't it? We want realism. Oh wait, it's too real. Yeah. Okay, so cabin power's off, external power doors open. Right, so our external power, again, we can have a look at our electrical system, turn off the external power. Our main bus is now supplying power, and we're going to turn on our cabin power, so the whole aircraft is now up and running. At this stage, we're going to go back and remove our ground power, right? And if we go into the cabin, you can see all our lights are on now, and we have power back here. Pretty cool, right? Additional lights, and we can, shade out the windows. Right, so what we're going to do, we're going to take off and just listen to the amazing sounds. So let me see, we're going to go back into our system controls, exterior lights. Again, these can be set to automatic. I like keeping them manually. I just like controlling that myself. But the aircraft does it itself. You don't need to worry about the lights. It looks after your lights. Automatically turn off the landing lights at 10,000, turns it back on below. Taxi lights will turn on, strobes will turn on, right? You get the idea. Right, so I'm happy now with this screen, so I'm going to come back to here. And because we have the map open, we're going to say, right, just give me that map full screen. And I can also display my vertical information down here. So if I want, map settings, what sensor do we want to show? Stick the old radar in, right? All our different settings when it comes to airports and ranges and all this kind of stuff, right? And we can track our vector. What else do we want to do here now? Other, select altitude range, sensor. Where do we do with our vertical stuff? Vertical situation display, here we go. And I also want to put in my flight plan. Can you not do both? There's a way in which, I thought you could do both. Leg to leg or commutative. I thought we could do both. Anyway, not important. We can go back one. There's our map settings. And on this page, we can look at our flight plan. So you can kind of get an idea for the use of all the different screens here. Like, it's quite incredible, isn't it? Like, it's absolutely brilliant, right? Now, we have our autopilot controls here, and again, we can edit all this. We, do you want that, Pia, or do you want that, flight director? Well, we can change it. We'll zero out, and we'll put in some altitude. And we have 10,000 feet there. We can go into some more PFD, so we can put in bearings if we want, other settings if we want. The wind is there, altitude units, so we can go meters for altitude, we can go inches of mercury or hectopascals for the other. Our sensors, ADC 1 or 2, I don't think they work, your AHERs and all that. They're all part of the working title stuff. So that should do us. Our map settings, HSI map in here if we want. Map overlays to show things like the weather or terrain. Data link settings, they haven't added that stuff in. And then in here we can show traffic as well. All traffic, or we can declutter that map as well. Pretty cool, right? Like, you can really dial in what you want to see on these displays, you know what I mean? So I'm going to taxi here and just have a listen, because it's incredible. Hermit, yes, you'll find them on Twitch and also YouTube, buddy. We'll go this way, man Murphy. Exterior. The MD-11 I think just got a huge update, but no news yet of when it's going to the marketplace. Great sounds in this machine. We'll go for flaps. And again, if you want to go back into our environmental controls, we can. So we can go to aircraft systems, configuration, thermostat, and now we can turn off these fans. Isn't it mad? Or turn them back onto auto and they'll do their own thing. Okay, let's go to exterior lighting. And we'll go ahead and turn on our landing lights, strobe lights. All our lights are now on. Okay, onto the runway. Alright, so just have a listen to the sounds here. It's very impressive. Now we're finished with our tablet. We can move it or disappear it. Disappear it, it goes into the little stowaway down here. Alright. I didn't do that with our transponder. She'd be grand. Right, let's go flying. Engine stable. As a takeoff, power set, airspeed alive, coming up on 80 knots. 100. V1. Rotate. Upsie daisy. The sounds. Alright, watch your speed. Oh, Jesus, Murphy, you need to kill this straight away. Genius. Easy now. This is before stay on the job. Alright, flap in. Easy now. Bit of trim. Speed is coming up. It would appear to take off just like the Vision Jet. Yeah, you can go ahead and press the or take off button, 100%. Yeah, this is the quickest way to die in a Vision Jet. Yeah. I hope you're taking notes now, you know. But the aircraft flying, it just flies so well. It's a very it's a very solid jet to fly. You know, it's easy to fly in terms of it doesn't get too giddy. Speed management is there, but you have all your options for your auto throttle, right? The autopilot does a great job. That clicking noise, that's me messing around with the trims, right? If we want to have a look at the nighttime lighting, again, 2024 has huge advantages when it comes to night lighting, right? So if we go over to here, we'll go interior lights, and these are our cockpit lights. Bring those up. Our cabin lights, and then we can display or change our displays. Alright, so you can kind of see, yeah, there's a whole load of lighting we can put into this aircraft. If we now have a look at the cabin back here, and like that's super bright. Alright, so we can say, right, we'll dial that down a bit. Easy now. And then we can press these kind of buttons over here to get the spotlights. We got like individual spotlights, or we can go for these kind of floodlights. So you get the idea. I mean, you can really get a nice nice setup, right? Beautiful. Different colors? I don't think so. No, not that I'm aware of. I'm sure you can probably do an edit to the config file. You know what I mean? So the exterior lights, absolutely brilliant. There are landing lights, strobes, position lights, beacon light. No issues there at all, right? If we go back to daytime, just to show you the window shades. There's photogrammetry here, that's why she's getting a bit excited. So there's our window shades, right? That's pretty cool looking, isn't it? Look at that, lads. And then if we go nighttime with the window shades, but we have our lights on, as I said, it doesn't fully dim it out. You can still see in, but you definitely know the shades are in use. Isn't it very good? And that's the HJet version 2. Great bit of stuff. Flying it is great. The fact that the screens are so customizable, again, Work Entitled did a great job. You have everything you need, and you can customize it whatever way you want. It's awesome, absolutely awesome. So yeah, phenomenal job here by both Marwan and FlightFX. Just incredible work. Right, we're now going to move on. We're going to have a look at SimPixel's Rome Ciampino, or Ciampino, but Ciampino is what I was told. Lima India Romeo Alpha. It is the historic gateway to the Eternal City. Experience the unique blend of history and modern aviation with the ultra-detailed rendition of Rome Ciampino, the international airport in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Easy now, Sim. Behave yourself. It is just 12 kilometers south of Roma, and we're going to go exploring it here now. So what do we have? Let me see. Ciampino is one of the world's oldest airports still in operation. It first opened in 1916, right? And today it serves as the primary hub for low-cost carriers such as Ryanair, Wizz Air and whatnot. Now, Ryanair did say they were stopping servicing here because the Italian the military, the Air Force, but also their firefighting do an awful lot now here. You can see those Canada Air aircraft. We do have kind of texturing. I don't know, is that a frame gen thing? Looks like it. Bit of scenery flickering, right? But that could be frame gen. But they have the water bombers here, and when I was in this airport, they had the same. They also have FBOs on site, general aviation, little bit, not much, more to do with the business end. You know what I mean? And they got some choppers here then as well. So there's quite a bit at this airport. Now in terms of the features, high-resolution PBR textures on every surface of the airport has been recreated, including the runway, taxiways and buildings. Accurately modelled terminals and hangars, each structure from the main passenger terminal to the military hangars and the general aviation facilities have been modelled to reflect the real-world architecture. Dynamic light or night lighting experience beautifully crafted, Murphy. It looked like an O. Crafted night lighting operations with an authentic apron, runway and taxiway lighting that captures the true ambience of the airport. Custom ground layout, fully reworked ground layout featuring up-to-date taxiway signage, accurate runway markings and realistic ground materials. Static aircraft and clutter. The airport is populated with accurately placed static aircraft, including the famous Canada Air fleet, service vehicles and baggage equipment. And it's optimized for performance, built with efficiency in mind, ensuring a smooth experience. This is available over on the iniBuilds website. You can pick it up for about €15. It's about 15 quid, right? So let's go exploring. As I said, I've been here in the real world. Rome has photogrammetry. It actually has 2 areas of photogrammetry. So you're going to see this line. There's a clear line in the satellite imagery, which is something that Microsoft need to tweak, because it kind of shags the place a little bit. You have this weird line that traverses the entirety of Rome. Oh, you live on the far side. It's just, it is what it is, but it's something that needs to be fixed, because you can absolutely notice from the air, right? Anyway, so this is the old part of the airport. That's where we have our water bombers. We have the general aviation stuff. We have FBOs, as I said, maintenance, small bit of logistics here as well. You had to get a bus. Yeah. So how it works here, there's no rail connection directly at the airport, right? So when you land here, you have to get a bus, and the bus literally brings you all the way down that road, come back across at the beyond the runway, and there's a bus that takes you to a train station, and the train station is over here in the area. You'll see there's a train station. They've actually modelled a train, look. So there's the train station. So that's how you get into Rome. This is by far the most handiest airport to get in and out of Rome if you can. You know, the main one, Leonardo, that's grand, but it's so busy, and you're an hour, 45 minutes. This is like 20 minutes in, you're in the city. It's a great airport, right? Anyway, I digress. I'm surprised there was never more sceneries for here. There used to be one that was in the marketplace. It was only ever all right. This is way better. You know, we have some great textures on the taxiways, the signage. It's very, very clear. There is a ton of ground clutter. I like seeing the static aircraft. Now you might say, yeah, there could be higher models or whatever. I think they look fine. I mean, they're very boxy looking airplanes. Those 415s, the water bombers. They're very boxy looking anyway, right? So as we move along, again, look at the reflections there. That's done really well. There is a scenery flickering. I don't know, is that a frame gen thing or I don't know. But as you get closer to it, it seems to kind of cool the jets a little bit. There's a man walking around. Ciao. Hangar interior there as well. Basic, but you get the idea. And again, it's built for performance, right? So if you ramble over, we got the fire station. Nice. We have the control tower, not modelled, as in the interior not modelled, but it looks okay, right? It looks okay. Super Typhon, I will refrain from saying that again, so good man. Interior, well, there is an interior, but there's not much going on, look. It's an empty space. And then inside the aircraft, like if you go on the land side, right? It's very accurate looking, but there's none of the extra bells and whistles of like interiors and all this kind of stuff. You know what I mean? It's very accurate. I remember there. It's like it's a class little airport. Oh, look at this. Nice. Is there a Skoda? If there's not a Skoda, I'm going to be terribly upset. Like, I mean, you know, devastated. Oh, do you know what? Do you know what this could be actually for the vehicles? If it's only if it only used the default vehicles, this is Pyreeg's vehicle overhaul thingy. So it could be the fact they're just using default vehicles. Do you know? There is a static chopper there. Yes, I remember that. It's a much older Puma though. Did you get the like? There's nice. I nearly said a super tie. There's nice textures. The layout, the building, the structure, everything looks pretty much bang on, right? And we move a little bit further down, a couple of Ryanair aircraft, and then we head down where the military side of the house is. Got some nice Falcon sitting down there. Got a C-130. Got a couple of MH-60s they look like. All right. Again, static. There are aircraft kind of parked up and around. I like the details on the exterior. Like, it's, you can't do much with photogrammetry. I absolutely get it, but the fact that he's gone to the trouble of like putting in all the fences, the perimeter fencing, this is always something that I look at when it comes to third-party sceneries. You just know there's a level of detail, high level of detail when they include perimeter fencing. I think it just makes the place look absolutely deadly. You know, we have the VOR station. And what we'll do now, we'll go off and we'll test out the old night lighting. Ooh, and oh, that's very nice. Yeah, we've pretty night lighting here. I'm not sure if those lights should be emitting light. The ground is certainly lit up, but shouldn't they be on? A patch is needed, methinks. Like, did they forget just to like to put like, you know what I mean? They are illuminating, but you just can't see them. That could be, it could be broken. There's feedback. Textures here, look, these are very nice. They're lovely textures. They're the new magic lights. Yeah. The ground textures are done really, really well. The PBR on them, it's perfect. Tower is a little bit on the dim side. Got nice beacons on the buses. Beacons on buses. There's the fire station again. Ramble over here to the GA area. Some of the parked aircraft, the static aircraft, do have lights on, which is kind of immersive if you're flying in here at nighttime. It's not bad at all. It's not bad. Like, it's in a region I love visiting in the real world, and now that there's an accurate airport for this area, I'm delighted that it's in the sim. You know what I mean? because there's nothing worse. You know, there's a place you absolutely love going to in the real world, and like there is nothing there in the sim. You're like, for crying out loud, I'm not going to go there. You know. Back over to the land side. This is pretty. Ara isn't that pretty. That's pretty cool. Look, you see, them lights have it, the other ones don't. So I don't know, was it just, did they forget to, like, you know, plug something in? Yeah. So there we have the night lighting, but it's more to where we are, the location here. I'll bore the absolute bejesus out of you some other time, but like, to give you an idea where we are, Rome is it's ahead of us there, right? But how you know it? See the railway here? So this is the railway you get with the train. And after a few minutes, you start noticing things like, you know, various drones and whatever around you. But you start picking up the aqueduct. The aqueduct. One of many aqueducts. There it is there, look. And it's in photogrammetry. Isn't that amazing? Now, I know it's photogrammetry, but still. That's default stuff, right? So the rail actually follows along the aqueduct. It did cross it here. And when you're in the train, you're able to look at all this, look. So there's the railway. Then it goes off to your left-hand side. You belt on in this way. The aqueduct comes back around and meets you again. Like, I remember this from visiting there, you know. The Irish sit, you know. The Irish built the aqueduct. And there was another bit that crossed over here. But then, of course, you have the Appian Way, or the Appian Way, and then you come on in then to the central station. And from here then, from the main train station, the central station, you get the subway. And the subway literally drops you to all the main sites. I mean, you can come straight over here to the Coliseum. There's a subway drop around here, roughly here by the Forum. And there's your Forum. Your Forum, of course, that being of ancient Rome. All the different hills we have. It's just Rome is my absolute favorite city in the world. It just is. I've been there many times, and I'll be going back. It's wildly expensive to go to Rome from Ireland at the moment. Flights are ridiculous. That's where Mussolini gave his speech. Look, El Duce, and that was his offices. Have you ever seen that picture in a photo? That's where he was. There we have the Altar of the Fatherland, it was called. Emmanuel something or other, I forget. The Palatine Hill and the Apennines, you have all of this. Come on over here then, you have the Circus Maximus, right? And they've only found recently more artifacts, both in the Circus Maximus at the back of the palaces here, but also in the Colosseum. Then over here, well, underneath all of this area, well, this is, they found Nero's Palace, which I got to go underground and experience all of that. And then further out the road over here, get me bearings, Colosseum, hanging left by the UN. That's like the UN food something, right? The United Nations food something. But we have the baths of Caracalla up the road here, look. The original bathhouses. And you can actually see it in the sim. The mosaic stones are still in place. It is absolutely incredible. Rome is just brilliant. I love it. I absolutely love it. And every time I go there, I discover something new. Did you know there was an actual pyramid in Rome by the city gates? It's a tomb. And there's the original city gates. And they wrapped around the imperial city. Then we head back across the Tiber. And let me see here now. This is down with the Jewish quarter, I think they call it. Up over this way, you have the Castel Sant'Angelo, which is just there. That, of course, is the mausoleum of... I want to say it was Hadrian. I think it's Hadrian. That's where he was buried. And then, of course, then it's on up into the Vatican. And you'll notice, well, look, well, there's the aqueduct we saw earlier on, because it actually comes all the way up into the Vatican itself. And back in the late unpleasantness, Middle Ages, the Pope actually had an escape route in the aqueduct that will lead him all the way down to the fortress in the Castel de Sant'Angelo. It was a secret escape route that he would use. It was much different, obviously, back in the day with the Papal States. Before the Vatican was the Vatican. Again, it was Mussolini who signed that. It became the Vatican. Before that, it was just known as the Papal States. But I'll bore you with more history. But anyway, you know, you have the the famous Michelangelo's and all this. The Sistine Chapel is in there. But all of this, St. Paul's, all of this was actually built on ancient Roman stuff. Various emperors saying, right, we're going to build stuff here. The Vatican itself, the museums in the Vatican, they have some incredible artifacts, incredible stuff. And then you have, well, the Pope's gaff, and there is a helipad back here. You often see the Pope flying in and out, so it's always a challenging landing. I don't know, did the Sim model it as a helipad, but there's definitely a helipad back there. Again, you have the aqueduct. It's built on kind of like a redoubt. And as we head back in towards Rome, right, we can come back down this road now, and you'll be heading back in towards the Piazza Novana, which was, if you look at the shape of it, you'll say that's a very strange looking piazza. Well, it was once another circus drome, and it was another Circus Maximus sort of deal. What's the drome? What's it called? I forget the name. But that's what it used to be. And these buildings that we see today, including the churches, they're actually built on the ancient foundations of what were once these stands and stadiums and all this. It's absolutely fascinating. There's an absolutely deadly spot right there, lads. You can get yourself a bottle of wine and a big plate of, like, meat and stuff for about 20 quid. Absolutely gorgeous. If we shuffle through the streets, do a bit of a left, bit of a right, there's a mad toy shop up here. You can buy Roman gear. It's pretty cool. And then, of course, we come to the Pantheon, which is still standing after some 2,000 years. And what it says here is, Marcus Agrippa, consul for the second time, built this. That's what that means in Latin. Marcus built this, right? And it was, I think it still is, the widest dome arch in the world, and it exists to this day. And then get our bearings from here. We can go across. You'll come up where Pompey's Forum is, right? All the different see all like these columns and stuff. These are all built at times of like war, military conquest. They're like the history here, lads. It's just frightening. But where you have Pompey's Forum, there was more stadium. There was more. They didn't call it a Colosseum. They called it the theatre. They were called theatres. This location right here, probably one of the most important, because, friends, this here is the tomb of Augustus. Right? This is the tomb of Augustus, and Augustus is important. He was the nephew of Julius Caesar. His name was Octavian, later adopted and called Augustus. He was the first emperor of Rome, and his mausoleum is here. That's that round building. And then in here, there's a massive, beautiful museum, but it's a massive kind of temple. Not necessarily a temple, but it's I forget the name of it, but it's all based on Augustus, Emperor Augustus, and his epitaph on the wall. You can't see it here, but on that wall, it says all the things he was offered, but he turned down. And it was the first time we've ever seen that from Romans, because if you look at Roman graves and tombstones, they've always said what they achieved. Augustus flipped that on its head. He's like, well, they offered me this, but I said no, I was just a humble man, and all this kind of stuff, right? Further on from there, then we'll come down, and it's Millionaire's Row. You can buy Gucci suits for about $12,000. I kid you not, I saw a pair of, or a tracksuit or something for about 25,000 euros here. Ridiculous stuff. But that leads us then onto the famous Spanish Steps. From the Spanish Steps, then you ramble up here. You can get ice cream. There's, in fact, if you go down this way, you have the Trevi Fountain, and there's gelato that you can get beside the Trevi Fountain. It's very expensive, but oh Jesus, it's very nice. And you can make your wish at the Trevi Fountain. But anyway, this kind of sidetracked into a tour of Rome. I need to go back to Rome. I absolutely adore it. Right, we're moving on to our last thing to show you tonight. I haven't bored the absolute crap out of you, because I want to show you another new aircraft. Gucci Crocs, I'm telling you. But yeah, right, what are we doing? Placeholder has loaded. Oh, jeez, we're in trouble. So we want the Twin Pioneer. Here we go. And we're going to load in, and we will leave the beautiful, I don't know what the beep was, the beautiful city of Rome, and we're going to come on up here to Duxford. I like Duxford I've been to Duxford many times. It's absolutely brilliant. So into Duxford, and I shall make a daytime. And let's see what we're going to do here, because I want to show you this aircraft, right? So the Twin Pioneer is a brand new release by BlackBox Simulation and the Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer. So what do we know? Crew of 2, cargo or capacity for 16 passengers, or £3,500 of cargo, right? What do we know about the aircraft? Let the sim load up and we'll give you now a look. Should have went to Prestwick. I like Duxford too. Right. Now the aircraft released last week, but we're going to have a look here now. I'll just tell you a little bit about this aircraft because it's a fascinating machine, this. Where's my mouse? There we go. So the Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer was a British short takeoff and landing aircraft built by Scottish Aviation at Prestwick during the 1950s. It was designed for both civilian and military operators, and it was conceived as a twin-engine version of the Pioneer light transport. Both aircraft required an area of only about 30 metres by 275 metres in which to operate. Meaning, well, hang on, they did what? Powered by 2 Alvis Leonidas radial engines, the Twin Pioneer was a high-wing cabin monoplane with a triple fin and rudder assembly with a fixed tailwheel undercarriage. The prototype, the Twin Pioneer, registered Golf Alpha November Tango Papa, when it first flew out of Prestwick on the 25th of June 1955. There was a total of 87 of these aircraft built. In the 50s, they flew many operations with the Royal Air Force. They ordered 39 of them. It was actually used extensively out in the Malayan emergency and later confrontation out in Borneo. And in August, number 78 Squadron RAF at Cormuscar, looks like, received some Twin Pioneers to supplement its single-engine Pioneers. These aircraft were used for reconnaissance, they were used for cargo, they were used for small troop transport. But the idea being was they can get them in and out of some very small areas. And that was important back then, especially in the 50s. Toppers were only starting to kind of come into the fray. These things, they were bulky, they were able to, take a bashing. Very good engines in them. And that was their operational history from the military side. On the civilian side, of course, well, they operated in a ton of different areas. We would have seen them operating in Australia for Capricorn Air, in Austria for Austrian Airlines. Canada operated these with Eastern Provincial Airways. They saw work in Ecuador, in Iceland, Indonesia, Iran, Iraq, Kuwait, Laos, Malaysia, Nepal, Netherlands, New Guinea, Nigeria, Norway, the Philippines, Switzerland. In the United Kingdom, they were used by Air Atlantique, classic Air Force, Flight 1 Limited. They saw extensive use throughout the world. And there's a number of aircraft on display. Australia has a few. There's a few in Indonesia. There's one down at Cosford, and there's also one up at the National Museum of Flight in East Fortune in Scotland. There's also a number stored and also under restoration. One of them in Coventry and one of them over in Wales. Power plant are the Alvis Leonidas 9-cylinder air-cooled radial engines, 540 horsepower each, which is a good shot of it, right? 3-blade prop. Maximum speed is about 143 knots. Continuous cruise at about 140 knots as well. Range was 791 miles, or about 690 nautical miles, and had a service ceiling of 17,000 feet. Now, the aircraft is available to buy over on the BlackBox Simulation website. It's €24.99, so it's $25, right? What do we get for that? Well, this is visually, it's a very nice aircraft. The modeling is pretty good. It's not top drawer stuff. The texture works. Again, it's nice. They're not top drawer stuff, right? BlackBox don't have they don't have that accolade of making the most visually stunning aircraft, but they do make them extremely fun to fly and very, very capable aircraft in terms of the systems. right? They're actually very, very good at systems. If the eye candy is what you're after, I mean, there are bits there, things that kind of stick out like a sore thumb. It's kind of how they do texturing with lights. I mean, you know, the rivets are textures, right? You can kind of see creases where there shouldn't be creases and lining up things. You know, the tires are like, so just kind of manage your expectations. I will say this though, the engines are modeled to a very high degree. I think the details on the models are absolutely superb. Props aren't too bad, wings aren't too bad, but certainly there are areas that are just like, Jesus. But as I said, these aircraft, black box aircraft, these are incredible fun to fly, and there's enough system depth there. There is studying required. Like, absolutely, you got to study these aircraft to learn how to fly, right? You can see here from the detail. I mean, look at the detail on that engine. Look, isn't that actually, like, that is incredible, lads. That's staggering, right? I put my own reg on. Don't worry, dude. It's just reading me default reg. So that's what we have there. Now we can do a Shift C and remove all our before flight as well. All right. And I want to show you this engine. So if I jump inside, and then we'll go drone cam, because I just want to show you the detail they've included on the engine, because it's spectacular. It really is. Right. Look at the details here. Look. And that's pretty good, lads. In anyone's language. Hello, young fella. How you getting on? JJ Stevens, good to see you, buddy. When is Key West dropping? I think it's coming out on Friday, but that's only a guess. I've no idea, but I'm looking forward to Key West. But yeah, the detail on the engine, it's stunning. They've done a great job there. So we'll close up that. Thank you. And we'll jump back in. Now, the cockpit, this is where you're going to go, oh, be Janie then, right? This, again, is not designed to be the most visually pleasing. It's accurate so far as the layout. And what you kind of learn about this airplane, British built or Scottish built, ergonomics weren't clearly on their priority when you look at where everything is. And it's funny because I was thinking, why did they put that there? And then I saw a review of the aircraft and they said, yeah, the ergonomics were just not thought of. Because you've ignition engine controls here, you've fuel and engine controls there, you've more fuel and engine controls over here, you've avionics and electrical over there, right? You've more friggin' fuel and engine controls here. It's all over the shop. And look at the rudder pedals. You know, aren't they mad looking? You can't adjust them, but in the real world, of course, you could adjust them. They'd slide back on that spring, all right? So what are we looking at? Well, a couple of things. We can open the windows. Nice. And all our circuit breakers, and this is what makes this thing pretty cool. That's a light switch, I think. All these circuit breakers are modeled. There's logic behind them. They all work. All of them, which is great to see. And when you look at how clear everything is, yeah, it might be a little bit, but it's very clear. So it makes learning these aircraft fun, and you don't really need to struggle where to see things because the dials are like, they're very, very clear. Do you know what I mean? So just so you can kind of manage expectations, it's not going to be the most visually pleasing thing, but I think what BlackBox do with their aircraft, they don't have to be, because they are superb aircraft. There's also a number of different variants. This is a passenger configuration. We can also load in with cargo. We can also load in with a surveying aircraft. And indeed, we can also load in with a paratrooper variant as well, which is pretty cool, right? So a lot of variants have been added in on this aircraft, which is great to see. So can I close that door now? Come here. Oh. We can't do that with the curtains. In terms of EFB or any of that jazz, there's nothing there. We don't have, we've nothing native to the aircraft like a checklist or a little placard or anything that I can see. We do have a GPS up here, but I don't see anything there from a clipboard. Maybe there could be one. I couldn't find one. And the reason why I'm scratching my head, there's no manual yet for this aircraft. There's no manual, right? He is working on a manual. And once we see the manual, he said he was actually going to email it to me. But once we get a manual, things will become a little bit clearer. But we've no manual, so I'm only kind of guessing, right? Anyway, let's get this machine into action to see what it can actually do. So we'll start off with the master battery. Some sounds are lacking, but we'll see what happens. So master battery on. Let me see here. We're going to get our anti-collision lights, nav lights, cabin lights turn off the crack. Pedos, no. Heaters, no. Now fuel boosters on. Priming pump, yes. Primer port, booster. Coiler. Starboard on the primer. Cowl port, I'll worry about them now later, and then our battery. We do have a fire test. Lovely. Lovely. Someone's preparing food in your house. Yeah, junk is up. What else do we have here? We have a radio, right? Squawk, anti-ice. We have our ignition systems, fuel levers. We need to put these guys forward. I don't know, do we need to put all of them? They're fuel tank isolation cogs. We'll leave them on and see what happens, right? Radio, that's grand. Avionics, leave off till we start. Battery, so we can see the bus. 24 volts. That'll do us, right? John, welcome in. Thank you for the follow. Cheap version of DC3 switches. Yeah, like it's much smaller than a DC3. Like the aircraft has character, that's what I like. But when you think of the visuals, you're going to struggle here to say this needs to be on my list. But when you see kind of how the whole thing works together, it's still a fun aircraft to fly. And hopefully that you'll see what I'm trying to get at. Hydraulic pressure is not liking. Get up there now. We'll see what happens. Right, so I think from here, lads, we're going to try now start, will we? Look what's pretty cool here. So you have a controls lock. Can't move me controls. See this guy here? That's trim. See this guy here? The control lock automatically opens with the throttle. See the way it catches the bar and brings it up? So it's almost like a safety feature that was, you know, if you need to fly, well, don't have your control lock. Now you can move it manually. So maybe that was a feature, right? We'll bring up the old props there now, and flaps are in the up position. That's all okay. Reminds you of the FSX days. Yeah, from some of the textures, yeah, 100%, man. There's no denying that. But it is functional, and that's what I like about it. So I think I've done what I need to do. Ignition systems, we'll turn you on. And let's hope to the power of Bijani then. She'll fire up. Clear prop. Didn't like the sound of that. There was spinach, but she's starting. Yes! Okay, right side's alive. It's a good start. Left. Again, we're looking for RPM to come alive here, and then oil pressure and all the jazz. Engine sounds internally could be tweaked. There she fires. It's like you can hear the sounds with the windows open or closed. Now, I'm not sure what sounds they're using for this. I don't know whether they're native or are they taken from the DC3. Again, I've no manual to read it. I don't know, to be honest. They're WY sounds, but I'm just unsure. Right. I think we're looking good. I'm so low. Fire warning, we did all that. Lights. Extend. Taxi light is on. Peter, he can come on. Couldn't tell you about the rest. We'll just wing it, lads. And, well, let's see what this puppy can do. Mind your ears now, we'll have an hour listen. There's also a very annoying little single pixel. See that gadget? That's wrecking me shagging head. It's like there's dirt in me monitor when there's not. It's part of the aircraft model, so he needs to fix that. But anyway. It does look pretty, doesn't it? Alright, off the brakes. It was done just to annoy me, yeah. Isn't it a lovely looking airplane? Now check out the flaps as well, because you have trailing and also forward slats on it as well. Do you remember Duxford last year, lads? Wasn't it great crack? Some say Pilot Peely is still waiting for his sandwich. Right, ramble on this way. Yeah, I think it's a beautiful aircraft. I love it. It's a gorgeous looking machine. Would I love to see higher end detailing and, you know, textures? Yeah, of course I would. But still very nice. Hey, Ross is here. Good to see you. But it's very nice. It's a very pretty airframe. The look only a mother could love, yeah. Now you're a cup of tea, Scott, no? Jesus, Scott, I thought you'd have been into all this. Alright. Now this thing, I'll get me trim right, because this thing flies, she tries to take off like an absolute divil altogether. As in, it's very easy to fly. You're airborne within seconds in this, right? So we're getting ourselves lined up here. Easy now, Jemima. Power coming in. And let's go flying. Easy now. 60 knots. Oopsie daisy. You don't kind of fly this like your conventional machines. Let her pick up some speed. Alright, bring her flaps in. And just light little changes with her trims. Papa Mike is here, good to see you. And we'll circle around to the left. I'm not sure is he using the DC3 sounds. It feels very cumbersome and heavy, which is what you'd expect for an aircraft of this size, right? Now what I will do, we'll get ourselves into a bit of level flight. Where's the airport? Keep her rolling. Right, there's our airport over there. What I want to do, I want to show you the night. Okay, we lost number 2. Oops. Am I low on fuel? Oh yeah. Yeah, big agent Murph. It's okay, crisis averted. I want to show you the night lighting. Check it out. I've lost number 1. Ah, Jesus! What did I do there? Don't panic. Now you can actually see the reaction the airframe has when it drops an engine. Right, we're back in action. Jesus. Right, but I want to do this time without interruption. I want to show you the night lighting.
Can I get a refund?
No, you can't get a refund. Shag right off. Have a look at the night lighting on this thing. Because it's very pretty. Isn't that pretty? Beautiful. Is that a light up there? It is. be another one up here somewhere. I can't check and see. I'm after losing an engine again. Oh, we lost number 2. Oh, the primer pump. Is that what's wrong with it? Booster pumps? Remember that time Murphy almost flew a plane without crashing? Is it out? It doesn't make sense to me because they're running and then you need to shut them off. You know what I mean? He lost 3 engines, he only has 2. UK engineering, yeah. The night lighting is gorgeous. But I don't know why I'm losing engines. Oil cooler. Right, there's a bit of weather to start a bit of crack. You have this also, it's called a green salad for navigational purposes. Couldn't tell you what a green salad does, but it's this way for like navigating. Yeah, it looks better in the it looks better at night time, it really does. What's for leftovers tonight? Just missing some shadow casting. I don't know why the engines were giving up on me now, but again, once there's a manual for this, I'll figure it out a little bit better, you know what I mean? Pull to jettison the window. Well, we won't do that. Right, let me see the airport. Jesus. What started off as a lovely flight has now turned into, Jesus. I think it's over that way. Is it now? Map. EGSU, that's the ticket. Where the... we won't panic. We'll get there. He needs to fix that little black flickering thing, look. Wouldn't that wreck your buzz? I don't know what it is. But she's pretty. I will say that. It's a pretty airplane. It's only gorgeous. Twin Otter-ish. You kind of get a Twin Otter vibe, sure. We have to go this way. The clouds are making it a bit awkward. So we're moving at around 135, 140 knots. So like, it is flying the way it should do, right? 777 is here. Yes, hello to Jess and Caitlin. Welcome in. Good to see us. Happy middle of the week. Test flight report, it was emotional. Absolutely, Hammy. It's good to see you, buddy. Hope you're well. I'm looking for an airport now. You can't miss it this edge, you know. Jace, that does look fantastic, doesn't it? Is that the main road? It looks like a main road. Jace, that'd be handy in the real world. You can stick your head out the window. Oh, we're going the right way, sort of. Do a bit of a left turn here. It looks like a plane with a purpose. It is. It is a pretty airplane. It's very pretty. Oh Jesus, I found the runway. Right, let's test the outlet capabilities. Flaps! All the flaps. This thing is a stall certified airplane. We got slats and flaps. Look at the Bijani then. Look at this. Oh yeah. 100 knots. We'll be grand. Easy now. Try not to lose an engine again, you muppet. I was probably over boosting it now that I think about it. Easy. Easy. A tactical approach. It's like a Beach 18. Beach 18, Model 18, gorgeous plane. Easy now. Easy. 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 Don't plant it, Murphy, you big ape. Easy now. Watch your flare.
Dreamy, sleepy, nighty, snoozy, snooze.
Goose! Oof! Right, it's a bit of a hop, skip and a jump sort of a landing. We're down fairly quick. Oh yeah, nothing wrong with that. That's how she looks at night time. The beacon light works. That's pretty. Double beacon lights work. We'll just cut across the grass here. The lads in Duxford are sound. Easy now. Alright, props going back. Igniters. Fuel out. There she be. She's dead. I think it's quite nice, lads. Certainly room for like textures and all that kind of jazz, but I think overall it's a very pretty airplane, isn't it? Like, only for a black box, you just wouldn't have one of these in the sim to fly around in. You know what I mean? Well, but hopefully this has led you to either say yay or nay for this aircraft. I mean, that's my job, right? Make sure you guys have enough information that you can go off then and make a decision. I think it's a lovely airplane. I would love to see a manual for it, right? I'm kind of lost with it, that. It's a very interesting airframe. The system's depth looks very good. The night textures or the night lighting is superb. I don't know. You can definitely, I can definitely see different adventures flying this. You know, I'd pack a spare pair of kicks before jumping in. Right? It fits them out with all the others on display. Yeah. Like it is. It's a beautiful looking aircraft. I think it's gorgeous. Must get back to Duxford. Any more UK trips planned? Hammy, we're thinking going to Manchester in August, out at the airport. You know, burgers and pints and plane watching maybe. Why is it a French livery? No, that's an RAF livery. RAF livery. And my tail reg is in there, which probably shouldn't be, you know. The old November 235, that shouldn't be in there. But yeah, it's a nice aircraft. I'd love to see a manual because like there's obviously ways in which you should be flying this airplane rather than what I was just doing. You know what I mean? But yeah, Duxford. By the way, lads, if you don't know where I am, this is a freeware airport. Bonus here now for a minute. Duxford. This is freeware. It's over on FlightSim.to. It is absolutely incredible, and you need to download it and install it. It is shockingly accurate. Shockingly accurate. We did our meet up here last year. You know, we walked in through the shop here. We met the lads literally there, right there. and we went off into this hangar first. They actually have a bit of the Wright Flyer in there. And after that, then we went for a ramble. You put in some amount of steps. We went out for a ramble up this way, went for a bite to eat, and it was incredible. Absolutely incredible. And if you ever watched that movie, did you ever watch the movie The Battle of Britain? You know, the really, really old one? Yeah. Well, if you look at the layout of the hangars here, there was a scene from that movie where they blew up a hangar. It was that hangar block right there. See the way there's like something missing here? Well, it was in that movie where they blew up the hangar. That was the hangar. Did you know that? Mad, isn't it? Absolutely mad. But yeah, Duxford, it's a special place. Interesting LOD on the aircraft. But yeah, Duxford is a wonderful place to go. All day, you would easily... All day almost isn't enough for Duxford. There's so much there. You know, it's a phenomenal place. But anyway, Duxford, it really is a full day experience. Yeah, it really is. Like, you'd nearly do 2 days of it if there was an air show or something on. You know what I mean? But anyway, right, lads, good luck to you. We're back tomorrow, 1100 Zulu. We're going to be doing some VOR DME training, and then tomorrow night we'll be planning for our VATSIM flight out of Hanover into London Heathrow. That's going to be fun. I think the Land Warfare Museum is actually closed at the moment. I think they're moving all that stuff out. So that was closed when we were there. But yeah, it's an awesome place. But anyway, lads, I want to thank you all so very much indeed for tuning in. We covered a bit of ground tonight. We had a look at the updated HJet. We checked out Rome Ciampino, and we were here checking out the Scottish Aviation Twin Pioneer. So quite a busy one. So thank you all so very much indeed for tuning in. We shall see you tomorrow at 1100 Zulu, if not at 2000 Zulu tomorrow night. And don't forget, on Friday night, we have another group flight. So it's all kicking off now. So thank you so much indeed for tuning in. See you soon. Do you know? Ah, don't hit me with a frying pan! Oh, jeez! This is here! You just hit me with a frying pan!
I actually did make a noise!
Of course I made a noise! You hit me with a frying pan in my head!
Turn around!
Why would you hit me with a frying... Don't hit me again! Ah! Yes, it makes a noise! You're hitting me with a frying pan! Annalisa, did you put her up to that? Jesus, me head! Oh, who hit someone? I mean, come on! Who hit someone with a frying pan, for God's sake? Oh, very hollow sounding. What? What are you talking about, hollow sounding?
It's all right.
Hey, Rambog is here. Good to see you, man. Did I miss anyone else? Oh, Jesus, watch what you're doing, Murphy. Oh, no! The dreaded chat! I know! See what happens? Did you see it? Collider is here. I rarely use this word when it comes to FlightSim add-ons. I reserve it only for the special kind. But like, there's no point saying anything other than this is shite. It's shite. Like Dublin, Pascal, he, art.